Football fans all have stadiums we love, but do any of us have a pitch that we love? It might sound like an odd question, but pitches can be different sizes with big consequences. Why is that? And what are the actual rules? Back when association football started, pitches could be up to 100 metres wide and 200 metres long. That's longer than Ellen Road, not the pitch, the stadium. Anyway, UEFA wanted a standard across Europe for international matches, which became 105 metres long and 68 metres wide. But some clubs had been rebels, not intentionally, but because of the stadiums. Take Highbury, for example. It was 5 metres shorter and a metre narrower, meaning away sides had a challenge to adjust. White Hart Lane was exactly the same. And actually, when Spurs temporarily moved to Wembley, they asked the FA to shorten the pitch. The FA, very offended by the sacrilegious suggestion, said no, which in fairness could have actually benefited Tottenham because when they moved into their shiny new stadium, the pitch was exactly the same size as Wembley's. Today, Forest Pitch at the City Ground is a big one. It's 2 metres wider than any other pitch in the Premier League. But the smallest of all, Craven Cottage, just 100 metres long and 65 wide. No excuse for not tracking your man. There are a couple of crazy outliers in Europe too. At Napoli's home ground, the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona, the pitch is a whopping 110 metres long. At least they don't play on a slope like Newcastle do. There's a 2-metre incline on the pitch at St James's Park. And don't get me started on the old pitch at Yeovil too. It used to be a slant of 2 metres corner to corner and across the halfway line. So UEFA have their standards. So do the FA, but they do give pitches in England some wiggle room. Pitches can be anywhere between 90 and 120 metres long and between 45 and 90 metres wide. I mean, the rules state you can't have a square pitch, but in theory you could have one that's 91 metres long and 90 wide. Imagine rocking up to play a Sunday League game and the pitch is basically a square. So there are rules and regulations on sizes, with a UEFA standard that roughly everyone follows. But as we all know, size doesn't matter, does it?
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and on Clark's Deal Drop. Get the new car feeling without the new car price. Discover some of their biggest savings and find your next car today, 4 minutes past 6 o'clock, Tuesday, August the 25th. And of course, you know, we're looking at each other when Nick read that valuation out of Liam Delap. And it's not that I don't like Liam Delap, but explain to me in which universe is a player that you sign for £30 million and he scores one goal, one Premier League goal for you, suddenly worth 50 million? I mean, how does that work, Coisty?
Well, I've worked that out. Kilmarnock got a bargain on me because in theory they should have paid 411,645 million. Hey, how does that work?
I mean, goodness knows. And
Reinders is another one.
yeah,
Did Man City not get another 20 million on top?
Yeah. So you sign a player, he's a flop, but you sell him on for more. Is that the way it works?
I don't know, mate.
You know?
It's bizarre.
It really is.
It's bizarre.
And look, you know, and if I'm Liam Delap, by the way, I'm having a look around as well, because I think there are, you know, no disrespect to Forest, I think there'd be a few others interested.
Yeah.
Newcastle were interested in him before he went to Chelsea. Now, you know, maybe Asula's solved their problem going forward, but you know, you need more than one striker, that's for sure.
Yeah, Visa looked lively at the weekend. Voldemar did a question mark over, wouldn't they?
Oh, big question.
Yeah, so Anyway, did you manage to watch that game?
I did. What a game. Cracking game, I thought. Absolutely brilliant.
I saw the highlights. I won't bore her with doing my journey down, which was delayed for 3 hours on a flight from Glasgow. But anyway, you...
Well, you usually bore us with your travel stories, Constantine. So
I think I've learned my lesson. I think I've learned my lesson.
Go and make a cup of tea now, okay? Come back in 5 minutes. Oh, no, a bit longer, actually.
There's guys heading for the Dartford Tunnel, delighted they're going to lose their signal for the next...
They'll be parking in there. Just park up for 5 minutes in the tunnel.
Anyway, I was meant to get in at 8 o'clock, and I got in at 11:30, but not to worry. But I watched the highlights. Chelsea look good
in going forward.
Going forward.
I mean,
goalkeeper.
Shocking defensively. Yeah, not just the goalkeeper.
No, I know.
He will take a lot of the flack. But defensively, they were all over the place. But going forward, I mean, Cole Palmer, there's been a lot of good individual performances this weekend. You know, Wissa, McBurney, Enciso, Sangari, De Kuiper. That was the individual performance of the weekend.
Brilliant.
By far. He was utterly sensational.
His finish is excellent as well. The centre-back has to match the run, but it's an excellent finish. He'd one run second half as well, where he took about 3 or 4 on. He just, I mean, it was reasonably wide of the post, but lovely to watch. They looked really lively, what I saw going forward, mate. Really lively.
They looked
but is that what we expected? You know, with the greatest respect, you know, there's always going to be a question mark about him defensively. I think the goalkeeper's suspect for both goals.
Yeah.
Certainly the first one. He's positioning for the first one. And I don't know, is it Rodgers lets him run? Somebody lets the forward run, but that said, he's too far to his right-hand side.
I mean, to me, you know, it's sticking out like a sore thumb. Emi Martinez is training on his own at Villa at the moment. You know, hello? I mean, surely Chelsea will be interested.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He'd be perfect for that side.
I mean, you know, the opening goal was shot. Oh, by the way, for Fulham, I thought, you know, I was listening to some of the commentary and some of the comments before and afterwards, but I thought there was plenty to encourage Fulham fans there as well. Young, exciting side.
Yeah.
And in the first half, Josh King was electric. I mean, absolutely electric. Oscar Bob did well as well, I thought, you know. I mean, I just think that there was plenty of encouragement for Alvaro Arbeloa there as well. But at the end of the day, it's Chelsea are off to a win. So on the basis of what you saw last night, do you think they could push Arsenal at all? They've got them in 2 games' time, by the way.
From what I saw last night, do you know what I think? I think they could beat Arsenal on one-off. I'm not sure they've got consistency to take Arsenal over the 38 games, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, I think they've got real quality in forward areas going forward. You know, the finishes, even Pedro's first finish, a beautiful finish. Cole Palmer, when he's like that, he's irresistible to watch. He really is. He's just wonderful to watch. They've got brilliant players. But I just don't think that consistency-wise, I look, you know, you're going to have to maintain a level of consistency over the 7-8 months, and I'm not sure Chelsea will do that.
Yeah.
But I think they could beat Arsenal on one-off, definitely.
Yeah. I completely agree. I think that's exactly the situation. I think over the season, Arsenal's qualities and organisation and consistency will probably be too much for Chelsea.
See, there's games, you know, throughout the season where you don't play well, you have to sneak a 1-0 or something like that, and I just think Chelsea looks suspect defensively. I'm not sure that they could guarantee a 1-0.
No, absolutely not. Danny Murphy was on commentary duty at Craven Cottage last night for talkSPORT. He broke down what makes this Chelsea front three so good.
Well, there's a lovely mix, isn't there? So you've got the running in behind of João Pedro, but also clever on the link-up, can see little give and goes and passes. You've got Palmer, who's much more of a technical player, who moves the ball and manipulates the ball and sees passes from nowhere and scores goals from everywhere. And Rodgers is a bit of both. I mean, Rodgers is a wonderful athletic player who can fly past people with his pace, but he's also clever. You know, he can play little triangles and little give and goes and good awareness of where people are. So they're a nightmare to play against. And that's why I was saying before that system allows those three to defend very little. And that's really important if you want them so focused on winning your football matches.
Yeah. The thing I love about Cole Palmer, particularly last night, was, he never takes the simple option. He always looks forward.
Yeah.
He always wants to make
100%.
something happen rather than
100%.
pass the responsibility.
Absolutely. And the talent and vision that he's got is excellent. I think his first year at Chelsea, brilliant. Second, I'm not sure, he obviously dipped a little bit. I just feel he's got a lot to prove. A little bit like Foden this year. They've got a lot to prove to themselves and a lot of people. So it's big years for the pair of them. But he's certainly, he's hit the ground running, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Fulham should have got something out of the game, because Anthony Robinson, that chance when he's through, one-on-one the goalkeeper, and he lobs it wide, it could easily have finished 3-3. And of course, Sanchez is getting the brickbats this morning. New manager Xabi Alonso was asked about his keeper's performance after the game.
No, we haven't had time to speak much about the team, just a little few words with the whole team.
And what was your view of that particular
I've said that both goals, I think that we can defend better, both goals.
They got a difficult start, by the way, as well, because Brighton at home, we saw what Brighton did to Villa at the weekend, and then Arsenal away in their next 2 games. But it all seems really positive at the moment for them, that is for sure.
You're right about you're right with the goalkeeper. I mean, I think he should do better. However, particularly the first goal, I think King runs away from Rodgers. Rodgers turns his back and he goes in behind them, which isn't good enough. And I know what Danny was saying there. They've got a lovely blend in forward areas, but I mean, you can't shirk your defensive responsibilities in that manner.
Enzo Fernandez started on the bench. He came on, and of course, he came on to an absolute cacophony of boos, which is something he's going to face every single time he plays for Chelsea in this country. I mean, I wonder what impact that has, if any, on his, not just him, but on his teammates.
Well, it has to have an impact.
The mood.
Jeff, it has to have an impact on him, and it certainly has. It must have an impact on his teammates as well. It's how they handle it. I mean, that's the important thing. It'd be crazy, and I think it would just be wrong to say it would not have any impact at all, because of course it does. Absolutely it does. If you're getting booed, it has an impact on you. You can do it different ways. You can say, I'm not having this, and you can leave, or you roll up your sleeves and say, right, I'm not going to let it bother me that much. I'm going to try and work with it. So there's different ways you handle it. But it'll be interesting. But you're right. I think it's almost guaranteed just about every away ground.
Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely guaranteed.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. I think some Chelsea fans are in 2 minds about him as well. Will anybody pay 120 million for him?
A lot of money, isn't it? Yeah. It's an awful lot of money.
Yeah.
Mind you, if you're going to pay 50 for Delap,
Yeah. Bargain.
Yeah. It's. I mean, for example, Delap needs to go away and gets playing again, and he will. He'll score goals. I think he'll score goals elsewhere. But just the logic of that transfer and that transfer fee,
I know,
can't sit with us, can it?
No, it's crazy. Pet hate. João Pedro, excellent. I thought he was excellent last night.
He was.
He's not the only one. It's just the example from last night. Don't wag your finger at officials. I hate it.
Yeah.
He wags his finger at officials. Now, I think, personally, if producing a pretend yellow card to get somebody booked is a yellow card, wagging your finger at the officials should be the same, because, it is disrespect. And he was wrong, by the way, because the assistant was absolutely right on that occasion. You see it all the time. It's a little pet hate. But he was very, very good. Had a great pre-season as well, and he's carried on in that way. Simon says he's a Hull fan. He says, morning, guys, 50 million for Delap is crazy money. You couldn't agree anymore, Simon. And again, I think he'd still be a good buy for somebody, but just not at that price. Chelsea fans, what your calls this morning? Sound commentary last night. Chelsea got the best front three in the league.
I'm not sure about that.
It had me thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. It's a bit of a statement, that. I mean, I think they're excellent, but you look at other front threes and you can make comparisons. It's effectively, it's just there's no definitive there. It's just an opinion.
Yeah. Is Robert Sanchez the only thing stopping you from winning the league? I would question that as well, to be brutally honest. But he certainly could put a dent in your hopes, is Emi Martinez the answer? Anyway, we want to know your views. 03717223344. Coming up, we turn our attention to the back pages of the shambles that is English cricket.
We're due to talk about Spurs now. O'Hara was meant to be here, Jason Cundy, but apparently he's bottled his chance to plug your show. What? If you're not watching but listening, you've put on a Jamie O'Hara mask. Is that a new thing? I mean, that's quite horrific.
I don't know what it looks like. How does it look?
What do you think it looks like?
No, I can't see myself. Does it look like O'Hara?
Have a look at the monitor.
Every time I do that, I turn away.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it looks ghastly, and I never use that word. Yeah. Have you put it on before?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I've worn it before.
It's
so
vile.
weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. So do you want to pretend he's here?
I can pretend he's here.
Okay,
yeah.
let's
Shambles! Shambles!
Why is he not here? I heard he stormed out the studio again yesterday.
Last
He keeps
night,
storming out.
honestly.
Soon it's going to be more of a shot of his face.
I talk about Spurs.
Take the
with him,
mask
right?
off, for God's
That's-
sake. Yeah.
Honestly, when we talk...
Oh, put it back, put it back.
Put it on. I love getting into him about Spurs. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And he was saying if they buy Savinho and Mamouche, they're guaranteed top four, top turn. I'm like, come on, mate, come on. The Ange mask will come out, and it just grew legs and arms. The thing, and it just
Well, it's what you do.
exploded.
You got many more masks?
Yeah, I've got a Benty mask.
Have you?
No, no. No.
Don't wear him in a bank.
Do you know what happened though? Here's what happened with the Ange mask. We bought it last season when he took over at Forest, and we ordered it from I think South America. By the time the mask turned up, he'd been sacked.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for two to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ali McCoist is with me today, and so is Elvis Costello.
Great song.
Oh, man, I loved Elvis Costello. Love Elvis Costello, who's 72 today, by the way, which is why
Many happy returns.
Yeah, many happy
Would that be your favourite?
You know what?
I liked Alison.
One of my favourites.
Pump
Alison,
it up.
Absolutely.
Pump it up.
Accidents will happen.
Oh, accidents will happen.
I can't stand up for falling down.
On the radio?
Yeah, I mean, it would. Look, he could do anything.
Very much brilliant. Not quite foreigner, but he's brilliant.
What about when he sang the Aznavour song
She? Maybe the face I can't forget that one.
Yeah, it didn't sound a great deal like that, but we know what you mean. Absolutely.
There's people wincing through that window.
Absolutely.
My voice hasn't warmed up. I apologise to them.
Yeah. Jimmy, the Chelsea fan, says, don't forget Caicedo didn't play last night. No, he didn't. And it was quite interesting, the explanation beforehand, where Xabi Alonso wasn't willing to say he was injured. He just wasn't quite ready. He said, nor did Palestra, and you're absolutely right again. And Jimmy, he's the eternal optimist. Jimmy, I love it at this time in the morning. Strong chance we replace Fernandes with Alex Scott or Adam Wharton as well. In your dreams, Jimmy, pal.
Oh, you take Wharton. I like Wharton.
Well, also Alex Scott.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, you're taking either of them.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. However, at the moment, they've got Caicedo. Yeah, completely agree. That will shield that back three or whatever it may be in the future. Right, time to look at the back pages with Costa Express.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Get a regular Costa Express drink as part of your Tesco meal deal at participating Tesco stores. Terms and conditions apply.
And Katie Shanahan is with us. Morning, Katie.
Katie, morning.
Good morning, guys.
That's takeaway. We won't say that out loud, but
we'll get into that later. Yeah. So we're going to round up some of the back page stories. Are you watching, Thomas? Picture of Cole Palmer on the back page of the Times. From what you've seen last night, do you think Chelsea have the best front three in the Premier League?
I don't know. Listen, they've got an excellent front three. Brilliant.
Who's better then? There we go.
Well, no, Arsenal's isn't bad. Man City's isn't bad.
Chelsea's front three looked very good last night. Another headline on the back page.
You get Ekitike back. Isak goes on a run. They could be an absolutely excellent front three. So, in answer to the question, very, very good. You take it all day. Whether they're the best or not would be up for debate.
Well, on the back page of the Daily Mail, cheers Morgan. He got off to a good start, didn't he? He did. Record signing. Blues keep cool in a thriller. You just feel as though João Pedro, Morgan Rogers, Cole Palmer, they just look so fluid and linking up already really well.
And Danny, listen to Danny earlier on, he's spot on. They all bring something different to the party. There's a lovely combination. There's a lovely mix between the three of them. Yes. Yeah.
Jamie Carragher was saying last night that Chelsea won't win the Premier League with Robert Sanchez in goal. Jeff, do you agree?
It's not just Robert Sanchez. Defensively, look, they look lovely going forward. But as I mentioned a moment or two ago, Fulham really should have got something out of that game. Anthony Robinson is through one-on-one with Sanchez, lobs the ball, I was going to say wide, but it's so far wide, but they had chances, and that was the problem. Chelsea gave Fulham, who I thought were quite encouraging, they gave them a few chances. They couldn't cope with Josh King. And I just think that defensively, and the texter is right. If Caicedo's back, he'll give them more of a shield. Yeah. That is for sure. I don't know Palestra. I haven't seen him play, so can't really comment on that one. But I think defensively, they're too vulnerable. Obviously, massive questions over the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Other story on the back page of The Sun here, Ali. Mind the Gak. City plot Cody Gakpo hijack. And Buwadi jets in. So Man City have entered the race to rival Tottenham for Liverpool forward Cody Gakpo. Where do you sit on this? Do you think City need a player like Cody Gakpo?
I think they've got other priorities, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure.
What priorities?
I still don't think they've got it right in the middle of the park.
Well, dude, Liverpool are not going to sell Cody Gakpo to Man City. They're just not. Yeah. Liverpool need to bring players in, not get rid at the moment. And where is Cody Gakpo going to play? For them.
Middle of the park is absolute priority. You lose Bernardo Silva and Rodri. You're not looking the immediate target, somebody to play wide on the left. Excuse me, no chance. You got Buadi, who Jeff and I spoke about, excellent. Saw him three or four times live in the World Cup. Thought he was fantastic. That, for me, is a priority position.
What about Cody Gakpo to Spurs then, Jeff? If you think that Liverpool won't give it to Man City, do you think
I thought Cody Gakpo was Liverpool's best player at Newcastle at the weekend. Why would you want to sell him? And why would he want to leave Liverpool to go to Spurs? I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
So no, I don't really see that there's a race for Cody Gakpo.
What we're saying is, if this was transfer tender, we're both going left on it.
We're not doing that today, Ally McCoist.
All right, but we're going left anyway.
This other story on the back page of the Daily Express and a number of the papers.
What's happening here?
What, with the cricket?
Yeah.
So, Brian Cars, he's been he was arrested and then de-arrested. So
he actually was arrested?
He was arrested and then he was...
Yeah, for about 5 minutes. You know...
Briefly arrested on suspicion of being drunk and disorderly in Derby on Saturday night before
then
being
they decided he wasn't drunk and disorderly.
So effectively he's not guilty of any charges.
Well, this is what Derbyshire police have disclosed. Here we go. A man in his 30s was arrested on suspicion of being drunk and disorderly in Derby city centre on Saturday night. However, the man was de-arrested shortly afterwards, having agreed to leave the area.
Right.
Apparently, he's been dropped from the squad as well. But we still don't really know what happened. But there was a social media video showing the moment that Cast was handcuffed with 4 policemen in attendance. But the bigger picture is: does England cricket have a drinking problem?
Well, the answer to that is, from my point of view, I've got no idea because I don't know what the boys are doing in a night out. They're very well entitled to have a night out, but unfortunately, in this day and age, it seems to be. They're getting caught in every night out, whether they're getting drunk or having a few
days of social media and mobile phones, Coisty, that's what it is. Good job they weren't around when you were playing.
Well, I was going to say.
I'm not sure they've been de-arrested on numerous occasions. They've certainly been arrested on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
I'm well up for this de-arrestation.
Well, actually, your name was popping up a lot, actually, on my show earlier.
Was it?
Famous people they've met on a night out or in a nightclub. And I tell you what, there are about 10 texts saying, he's bumped into Ally McCoist.
I'm delighted.
Whether you remember it or not, I don't know.
I'm guessing it wasn't yesterday.
But yeah, so this kind of story with England cricket rumbles on. But it is now 8 England players have been involved in nightclub incidents in the last 18 months.
Yeah, it's worth just bearing in mind, he wasn't out celebrating anything to do with England.
Yeah.
You know.
I know, he's his teammates.
Exactly. But English cricket's an absolute mess, isn't it? You know, I mean, coming from such a high from that series against India, we get battered in the Ashes. We lose against New Zealand. We win a sort of meaningless test against Pakistan.
They must be in some like Pakistan.
Oof. They're
all over the place.
Terrible. And of course, we lost our only real superstar.
Yes.
In Ben Stokes. So, you know. I just think...
Well, I would maybe take a little bit of umbrage with that. I mean, I think Joe Root would certainly come into the category of superstar.
Purely in terms of playing quality, absolutely. But Ben Stokes, superstars for me, larger than life.
Yeah.
Big characters. And I would argue, and it's not criticism, that Joe Root isn't that. He's a wonderful batsman. But Stokes is much more than that, you know.
But I'll take Joe Root, superstar on the pitch by a country mile. Love him.
Just a couple of quick texts about one or two of the things we've been talking about. Leon says, come on, guys, it's only the first game of the season. We're talking about the best front 3. Maybe after 10 games, we could evaluate that better. Leon, I completely agree with you. Take that on board, Katie.
Thank you very much. Taking notes.
And David says, the Delap thing has blown my mind. I realise inflation is real. But at this point, Chelsea are basically selling Forrest a £5 in return for a £10 note. And Ran, the Aberdeen fan, says, Jeff, get Ali to tell another travel story. That's better than his singing. Ran, I'm not so sure about that, pal. Ran, that would be living dangerously, I think. Katie, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that was thanks to Costa Express. Coming up, we turn our attention to the situation in Spain with Julian Alvarez and whether Arsenal fans would even want him now. We'll discuss that next.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Get a regular Costa Express drink as part of your Tesco meal deal at participating Tesco stores. Terms and conditions apply.
where are you, Isaac, at this moment? I just think that particular penalty, Szoboszlai was always taking it, and likes of Isaac had far more to lose than he had to gain by taking that penalty. But where are you, Isaac, at this moment in time? And he looks to me, he obviously had big injury problems and all that stuff. The move was well documented. You know, Newcastle fans are unhappy. What's it going to take for him to get playing with a regular confidence and show the ability that we know he has?
Well, I'm not sure about you, Ali, but I had plenty of injuries in my career, so I know how hard it is to get back, and you do need a bit of time. And everybody's given him time and understood that, but then he's sort of finished the season, then he's gone to the World Cup, and now he's had a pre-season, and you just think, okay, now we're starting to run out of excuses. We need to start seeing the real Isak, and we know how good he is. I mean, wow, we saw him for Newcastle. I mean, he's absolute class. But we haven't seen it for Liverpool just yet, and I think, you know, questions will come now. As I say, always give him the benefit of the doubt in the past with Liverpool, but at the start of this season now we're expecting, and Liverpool absolutely need him. They've lost Salah, Ekitike's out, there's not that many options in attacking areas. They absolutely need him to be on top form. Yesterday he was far from it. I thought he was a yard off, and that's worrying. But so was Wirtz. I thought he was really quiet as well. So, you know, it wasn't the greatest performance for Liverpool. They actually did well to scrounge a point in the end. But obviously he's the big money signing. He's headline maker, and I can't say he played well, because he really didn't.
Every spring, sports fans in Europe come together to celebrate arguably rugby's biggest annual tournament, the Six Nations. But why is it the home nations, plus France and Italy, and no one else? It all started back in 1871 when Scotland beat England in the very first international rugby match. A few years later, when they could field a team, Wales decided they'd host England, and an idea was thought up. With Ireland keen, they formed the Home International Championship, which ran from 1883. In 1910, France was allowed to join, as they were developing into a serious rugby nation, and thus the Five Nations was born. France had an interesting history with the championship. They were actually booted out for paying their players in 1931, when the home nations were keen to keep it amateur. After World War II, though, France were let back in, but it remained a closed shop for more than 50 years. And when another country was let in, it was only really because the Five Nations hand had been forced. Italy was developing into a serious contender, beating Scotland, France and Ireland twice in the same year, meaning in 1999 officials got together and said yes to Italy, and it became the Six Nations. So what changes, if any, come next? 7 nations? 8? A promotion and relegation system? Or should we leave it alone and let it remain the great rugby tradition it's become?
Very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is alongside me, and we're with Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. Just before we move on, Charlie Laguna makes an interesting point. Says if Delap's worth 50 million, how come Martinelli's only worth 50 million as well? Yeah, Charlie, take the point completely. Carl, don't take your point so well, though. Jeff, don't join the scramble to ruin one of the most exciting cricket teams we've had in years. I think I'd have to debate that with you, Carl. Why in your words do we lose to New Zealand but win a meaningless test to Pakistan, who historically are more of a rival? But the consensus, Carl, I would argue, is this is probably the worst Pakistan test team in history. So that's why it becomes a little bit meaningless. But honestly, I can't have it that this is one of the most exciting England cricket teams in years. I just can't have that at all. Right, now it's time for this.
The 150th anniversary test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army.
Now, how does an all... What is this?
What's that tune again? I know that.
Skippy.
It's Skippy the Bush Kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
So it is. Well done, Ed.
Okay. How does an all-paid trip to Melbourne for 7 nights sound? Well, talkSPORT is sending one lucky listener and a mate down under this march.
They certainly are. Now, thanks to Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army, you could be at the MCG watching England take on Australia, the 150th anniversary test match. We're talking 5-day match tickets, 7 nights hotel, an exclusive pre-match function with cricket legends, and a day trip to the Great Ocean Road. I used to watch Skippy, you know, back in the day. Also thrown in return flights and spending money included, yeah.
Smashing. Head to talksportwin.com right now to end up and for full T&Cs. Now, on the back page of the Mirror this morning, Mikel Arteta is ready to make a £130 million push to sign Julian Alvarez, but will demand assurances that the Argentinian star wants to move to Arsenal. Alvarez, of course, he got loudly booed at the weekend, didn't he, when he came on for Atletico. You wonder what his future does hold, because he's made it pretty clear that his dream move is to Barca. But Atletico, of course, they won't have that at all. I'll tell you what, let's get a better idea of where Alvarez could end up at the end of this window, if anywhere. It's a very good morning to the Athletic Spanish football writer, Dermot Corrigan. Morning, Dermot.
Morning, Dermot. How are you?
Hey, Jeff. Hey, Ali. How's it going, guys?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. It's a difficult situation, this, isn't it? Certainly as far as the player is concerned, because he's made it clear he wants to go to Barca, and Athletic have made it clear they don't want to sell him to Barca.
Yeah, for sure. He's in a really, really awkward situation. There's a lot of contrasting views out there, a lot of contrasting information coming out, but Alvarez was pretty sure that if he went out there during the World Cup and made it clear that he wanted to move to Barca, that Barca would come in with a bid that was high enough for Atletico to accept it. Atletico have been firm in saying they want a lot of money for him, and it doesn't look like Barca are willing or able to pay the amount of money that Atletico are asking.
Damn, it's an interesting one, because I think I was talking to Jeff a couple of minutes ago. Was there not, well, if not similar, there was a case when Griezmann came back, and it looked a difficult road back for him, but he made it back and obviously played very, very well. But it looks to me, whether I'm right or wrong, as if there's just a little bit too much water under the bridge regarding Alvarez.
Yeah, it does look that way at the minute, for sure. It's football, and sometimes people can forget things if he settles back in and scores a lot of goals. But they're different characters as well. Griezmann had shown maybe had spent a lot more time in Atletico before he moved to Barcelona. He was always very apologetic kind of when he came back to Atletico and kind of showed how much he loved the club. Alvarez, I think, is a quieter type of a character. He's a stubborn guy as well, and the relationships there seem to have broken down. And Atletico fans, they are, the third biggest team in Spain, but they have a bit of a chip on their shoulder maybe about Madrid and Barca, always trying to bully them a little bit, always trying to take their players or look down on them a little bit. Atletico fans don't like that, and Julian is paying for that at the minute.
I mean, obviously, he's a quality player. I don't think anybody doubts that. I was looking at his goal-scoring record for Athletic. A lot of European goals, 25 and 67 in La Liga. Is he regarded there as an unqualified success?
I think his first season was, and then last season not so much. He played an awful lot of football, Julian Alvarez, over the last 4 years or so. He's played almost every summer. Back from when he was at Man City, played World Cups, won the World Cup with Argentina, played Olympic Games, and came in. And there was a little feeling last year that he wasn't 100% fit, but when the biggest games came around in the Champions League, He played and he scored some tremendous goals against Spurs. He was brilliant. Against Barca, he was brilliant in the Champions League. Whereas in La Liga, week to week, sometimes he wasn't played. Sometimes he didn't look quite. I wouldn't say he wasn't quite up for it, but he wasn't as focused maybe on the La Liga games. Or Atletico weren't as focused on the La Liga games because they were out of the title race so early last season. So the numbers don't look great, but I'd say he's a really quality player. He's a clutch player. He's a guy who stands up in the big moments. We saw it at the World Cup as well for Argentina when they needed a goal. He scored that tremendous goal to get them through in the knockout rounds as well. And I think he's a great player. Whether he's 150 million, it's hard to put prices on players these days, but I think he is worth it. And I think that if Barcelona really, really had wanted him or had been able to find the money to spend on him this season, then he would have been a good signing for them. But it's hard to see where they would get that 150 million at this stage.
Damn it, all in all, didn't look a bad point for him actually. The centre-back Lenormand getting sent off and Simeone scoring late on. What's the manager saying about the situation with Alvarez, Diego Simeone?
Simeone, he's been biting his tongue a little bit. Simeone, he's been at Atletico so long. He has had an up and down relationship maybe with the club hierarchy there over the years. But they kind of need each other, or it's been good for each other. Both the chief power broker at Atletico, Hill and Simeone as well. Simeone and Alvarez have had an up and down maybe relationship as well. Someone who really wanted to get him into Atletico when he was at City. Simeone's son was involved, played with Alvarez with the Argentina Olympic team that summer, was involved in getting him to come across. But I don't think they're having a great relationship at the moment. Simeone had to walk back a little bit what he said. He said something like, when it first came out that the fans were maybe against Alvarez, Simeone said, well, the fans are the ones who pay our wages. They're the ones in charge. And he walked back a little bit, saying that, some of the behaviour had been a little bit over the top. But if Alvarez does end up staying, then there's going to have to be some work there on both sides maybe to mend the relationship.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting situation as far as Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are concerned, because do you want to pay big money for somebody who clearly regards you as second choice?
Yeah, there's echoes of the Vinicius Junior situation at Real Madrid involved here, as Arsenal are seen as a really good option, as a good club to go to, but not the first choice. Barcelona is huge for Julian Alvarez. He grew up in Argentina, a big Messi fan, watching Lionel Messi playing, for Barcelona, scoring all those goals, winning all those trophies at Barcelona, and it is seen as a dream move for him. He almost pretty much said it himself during the World Cup. Arsenal, I don't think Alvarez had a great time personally at Manchester City. I think he did well maybe in the team, but he and his family had trouble settling. Maybe in England there's some issues around whether he and the people around him would like to go back to the UK or would like to live in England again. So yeah, from Arsenal's point of view, you can see why they might be a little bit reluctant to go for somebody in that situation.
Good weekend, actually. Obviously, Bellingham scored 2-1 away from home, and a good weekend again for Anthony Gordon. A couple of assists and a 5-0 away victory. Yeah,
it's great for us here as well. The English players coming to La Liga. Troy Parrott as well, moving to Betis for me as an Irish guy is huge. Bellingham had it's going to be really interesting to see how he fits into the team at Madrid under Mourinho. He played almost as a number 10. He was crashing into the box, getting on the end of things on set pieces. But Madrid weren't that fluent in possession in the game. They needed a last minute winner. Yeah. And Gordon could be a beneficiary of Barca. Lewandowski's gone, Ferran Torres has gone. Maybe they're not going to get a striker in by the end of the transfer window. So it's a huge opportunity for him to play week in, week out, and he's hit the ground running for sure.
Dermot, thanks for your time again.
Thanks, Dermot. All the best, mate.
Cheers, guys. Always a pleasure.
Spanish football writer with The Athletic, Dermot Corrigan there. Now, still to come on breakfast.
Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Spend £100 or more with a Travis Perkins trade account and you could win a brand new Ford Ranger. T's and C's apply.
Chelsea fans, we've been asking for your calls this morning after you got your season off to a flying start. Will this man finally be happy?
We've gone from having one of the greatest ownerships in world football to being run by private equity. We've gone from being a team that used to laugh at Arsenal to being almost jealous of Arsenal in terms of the fact that they're competing for the league.
We'll ask Chelsea Fan TV host Alex Harris if he thinks they can challenge Arsenal this season. 03717 223344 is the number to have your say, of course. And that was our breakfast preview with our friends at Travis Perkins.
Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Spend £100 or more at any Travis Perkins Hire or Benchmarks branch as a trade account holder, and you could win a brand new Ford Ranger. T's and C's apply.
Of course he's got to start performing, but he's been injured. So we've got no reference point. We've got nothing to really say about what he did at Liverpool because he had no real run in the team. And if Liverpool aren't going to play in a way that suits the player that they've bought, which is get the ball to him, then I'm not entirely sure what you're supposed to do. What's he supposed to do? Put the ball up on the edge of his 18-yard box and run the length of the pitch, and someone's going to be happy with that? You're not Heung-min Son, is he? He's a centre forward. And so with due respect to it, I look at it and say, yeah, is he? The question for me is, big players would have embraced that opportunity yesterday and gone back to Newcastle and wanted to prove a point. So is he a big game player? Is he a big club player?
I think we saw that. We saw that in Newcastle.
Should he not have demanded the ball?
What big games has he been at Newcastle?
Well, okay, I take you back to the semi-final Arsenal League Cup. You can say, look, it's the first thing they've won in 52 years or whatever it was at the time. And Isak was at boiling point. He was ruthless.
When you play for Liverpool, you're expected to win. You're expected to be a top player. When you're at Newcastle, people anticipate and hope and will you to be such. And they expect their club to do it. When you haven't won anything for 70 years, it's a different feeling than
you're
when you
now
go
contradicting yourself because you said, look, we need to give him time. We need to be patient. And I'm convinced that he will be a success.
I'm throwing all arguments into the equation. I'm throwing all parts of it because it's multifaceted. It's not one or the other. It's not a case of judging on one performance, but also if you're a big player, a really top player, you've played with them. You know what they look like. You know what they think.
Top player gives you consistency, and that's probably lacking from it. It's an interesting watch, but I think he's going to be a big force in the Premier League this season.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for two to watch the 150th anniversary test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Good morning, 6:49. It's Tuesday, August the 25th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is alongside me. Headlines this morning: Cole Palmer back to his absolute best as Chelsea under Xabi Alonso got to a flying start with a narrow 3-2 win at West London rivals Fulham last night. Pressure's being ramped up on FIFA President Gianni Infantino after a number of FIFA legends have come together in writing a statement explaining enough is enough in a complete loss of confidence with Infantino. The legends include Mikel Silvestre and Manu Petit. He won't take a blind bit of a notice. And Braden Carson's been dropped from England's second test squad following a nightclub incident in Derby. talkSPORT's Andy Jacobs reacted to the news yesterday.
It's ridiculous that, I just don't understand. I mean, no sense that he was involved, but he was there. Ben Stokes was there. He was looking on. You think, what's going on? Surely by now you've learnt, all of you, not to do this, not to get into trouble, not to be Larry in a club, not to do anything.
Well, we don't know if they have.
We don't know anything, but the police don't handcuff you for nothing, do they? So something happened, something went on. It would have been a lot better if nothing had gone on. If they'd gone out for a drink and came home, that would have been the best idea, wouldn't it?
Well, they did go out for a drink, and he's probably trying to go home. It was 4 o'clock in the morning, admittedly, so it must have been a significant drink. However, he was arrested fleetingly and then de-arrested. And now I've never heard of anybody being de-arrested before.
I think it could catch on, though. I mean, I think to 4 o'clock in the morning, I think it's safe to say you're having a good kick at the ball.
Yeah.
At that point.
I mean, I mentioned it yesterday as well. The last time that I ended up in handcuffs on a night out, she wasn't even a real policewoman. Anyway, how do you fix a problem?
Adam Pompey, Adam Pompey sent in a lovely message, which I absolutely refuse to get myself involved in, which is very much along those lines.
Yeah, if I could only bring it up, I would, but I've lost it now. So anyway, so how do you fix a problem like England cricket right now? Let's get more on this. Very good morning to cricket journalist Cameron Ponsonby. Morning, Cameron.
Good morning, Cameron.
Morning, guys. I'm with you guys. I'd never heard the word de-arrested in my life.
No,
and now I'm having to write it down every 20 minutes. I think in isolation, this is fine. It's a non-story, whatever. Some lads have gone out and they got in so much trouble, someone got de-arrested and they went home.
Yeah.
But it's so boring now in terms of, the main question I have, as someone who's probably like the same age as these lads, is like, why can't they just end up going on a normal night out? So there's an amazing statistic at the moment where there's 30 England players in the country, there's 30 contracted players, and in the last 9 months, 8 of them, so over a quarter of them, have been caught up in some drinking scandal. And so I think that's where the frustration is, where you take all of them on their own, fine, whatever, you've won a game, you've gone out, you've had a few drinks, no problem at all. Sometimes it was before the game, that one was more of a problem. But when you add them together, it does speak to this culture which England are trying to address. And it's just got a bit old. It's the final line, or one of the lines.
I must admit, Cameron, it is getting rather boring. There's an interesting one. I read Michael Vaughan, and Michael said that it looks like it's going to take somebody getting hit with a really severe punishment that will send a shiver down the rest of the spine of the England team. Is that what it's going to take?
I do worry for Bryden Cast that might be where it ends up, because he's not in the team at the moment. So he was in the squad for the match that starts in a couple of days.
Easy target.
But he probably wasn't going to play. Yeah, if I'm him, I haven't been in the England team for about 8 months. I'm back in the squad, but I'm kind of as a backup. If there's a full guy, that would be a nice one to have from an England perspective. It's probably going to be someone who's on the outskirts at the moment. I personally don't know if that's required, to be honest. I just think you've got a new captain, Joe Root's back in as the leader. He's such a respected figure within that dressing room. It's a bit more of a new environment. I'd like to think, kind of with his puppy dog eyes, if he just went, lads, like, please, like, what are we doing? Like, last warning, we all know this is ridiculous. Let's start again. We're starting afresh from now, because he's going to have woken up on Sunday or Monday or whenever it had been and not believed it. So was meant to be doing the press tomorrow before the test match. He's now been roped into having to do it today. So in his second match back as the full-time captain, he's having to address another drinking scandal. And the only reason he captained last time, which was a few months ago at the Oval, is because Ben Stokes, his mate, was involved in a drinking scandal. So in 2 of the 3 matches since Root's return to captaincy, he's had to lead and go out in front of the media and address a problem that's nothing of his own doing and is involving booze. It's been the same story on repeat for 9 months and been, just a remarkable situation.
Cameron, and Andy is texting. He says, Andy in Manchester, he said people target them. And another text here said, they're in hotels and away for 90% of the year. It's not an excuse, but treat them better. They might not feel the need to have a blowout all of the time. Stay with us, Cameron. We're just going to take a call on this. Dave is a cricket fan. He's got some thoughts on the England team's behaviour. Morning, Dave.
Morning, Dave.
Morning, guys. How are we doing?
We're doing
good,
well,
thanks, mate. So what do you make of it?
I think cricketers have got to get their heads round. This isn't back in the day where cricketers were deemed a little bit more amateur. They weren't getting paid the kind of money that footballers get. Now they're getting paid big money, right? They got central contracts. You've got franchise cricket. These guys now, whether they like it or not, they're targets. Yeah. So the fact that someone's been arrested and de-arrested, that stinks of me. If a bloke spotted him across the face and he thought, these guys are going to try and wind you up, and they've all got a camera crew in their pocket. So they will try and get a rise out of these guys and then try and create a story. These boys have got to realise, firstly, nothing after 12 o'clock ends up well, for a start.
Yeah.
Now, and also, if you're well known and you're with Ben Stokes for an absolute starter, you are going to be a target whether you like it or not, because people, it's not like back in the day, like, Ali will be able to say this, the likes of Flintoff, the likes of Botham and Tufnell, if you saw those boys on a night out, they're one of you, they're one of the lads, so they'll want a photo maybe with a Nokia 3210 and it'll be something to tell their grandkids, I met so-and-so. Now it's, here we go, I've got an opportunity here. If I catch him out, if I wind him up, if I knock his pint, if I get in his face and I get a reaction, I can make a few quid and sell this to the local paper or the local online news or whatever. These boys need to be re-educated. You get footballers, go into the counties, go into the England dressing room and say, look, you are big business now, right? You make a lot of money, but you're now a bit of a prisoner. You're going to have to avoid certain situations for your own good. Whether or not you're completely not guilty of the issue that happens, as soon as you put yourself in that situation, you are going to be a target, whether you like it or not, because you are not one of the boys anymore. You are well known, you are well paid, and unfortunately with that comes that responsibility that you just have a few beers in the dressing room, you go back to the hotel, you go to bed. If you want to do it at the end of the season. Do what the Indian players, they are ridiculous superstars, but if they ever want to do anything social, they have to go to America or go to some other place on the planet where they're not well recognised, because you can't go out anymore. It's almost like famous, film stars or footballers or whatever. You're part of the fabric of society, but you have to distance yourself from certain situations. It's a sad situation because I want these guys to be able to let their hair down. You know what I mean? They
completely. And Dave, somebody else made the point here, and rightly so. They are away from home in hotels virtually the whole year round. Dave, thanks for the call. Absolutely brilliant. Just one final point to put to you, Cameron. And Martin's texting and he said, no more of this. Cancel the central contract of every single offending player. Breach of contract won't happen again. Has he got a point?
Come on. I think that's a bit further than the shiver down the spine that Michael Vaughan wanted. But they're absolutely... Dave was right beforehand. I think now if my mates are on a night out and they saw the England lads, they know the reputation they've got as drinkers, so the camera's coming out immediately. I have sympathy for those guys in that respect. I don't think the Durham night out is so much this because they're with their domestic team. But I think with the England boys, they're now well-paid cricketers. So if you want to go and have a quiet or as loud a drink as you want, there are places you can spend a bit of cash and be away from the public eye. If that's your route to a good time without getting in trouble, that probably seems like the best case situation for me.
Cameron? Oh, sorry, mate.
No, I'm just going to say, Cameron, from what everybody's saying here, it just seems to come down to a little bit of common sense, mate, does it not?
just chill out. Ali, I don't know when the last time you went out and got arrested was, but that hasn't happened to me or my mates ever, hopefully. And it doesn't need to. Every night doesn't need to end up in handcuffs. Is my guess. And if we just have a nice middle ground where you can have a skinful and go home, then I think that's all right.
Yeah. Okay,
Cameron,
thanks very much indeed, mate.
You've just left us with that image every night finishing in handcuffs.
Yeah, I know, every night.
In normal circumstances, mate, it's a no-go, but thanks for your views.
Thanks, Cameron. It sort of depends what your interests are, really, doesn't it, Coisty?
Brilliant, Cameron.
Coming up, we turn our attention back to that win for Chelsea last night and ask the question, was it impressive enough to worry Arsenal? That's next.
I've got the league table in front of me. Guess who's bottom?
Who's bottom? Who's bottom?
Your mob. You're bottom. Bottom of the table, Jay. Jay, do you know what, mate? I offered you 10th the other day.
Look, mate.
You going down?
Mate, please, like, come on.
What do you mean, come on? You're bottom of the table. You're bottom. I mean, you love flirting with the bottom of the table. You've started the season bottom of the table. You could go down, Jay, again.
Well, on that, if we play like that, we'll go down. If we play like that, we will go down. It's as simple as that. Forget top four. Forget European football. Forget all this, guff that we've been talking about with players coming in, a new era at Tottenham. If we play like that, we'll go down. Because you cannot turn up to a football match and play like that. That's embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed of themselves. How can you go through pre-season and then start like that?
They're going to clap the fans.
You can't start pre-season. You can't go through pre-season, all right, giving it the big one, and then turn up and play against Brentford like that. That is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. And we get scammed every season by Richarlison, who scores a couple of goals in pre-season. You go, oh, he's all right, Richarlison. We'll play him up front. We'll start him again. And then we get the same performance that we get every single
Why didn't you put Dubravka up top? I said that at half-time, Jay.
What football ground are you thinking of when someone says this?
Really tough place to go. Difficult place to go. Such a tough place to go.
It's a tough place to go at the moment.
It was a really difficult place to go, always. But what are the toughest places to go, really? We've scoured the planet to find out. Forget a cold, wet Tuesday night in Stoke. Try playing in a blizzard 220 miles inside the Arctic Circle at the world's northernmost professional club. When Chelsea lost at Tromsø in Norway in the 97-98 Cup Winners' Cup, a massive snowstorm hit at half-time. These two boys and their brooms were absolutely no match for it. We're staying in Scandinavia for Scotland's toughest away day on a windswept cliff in the Faroe Islands. In Euro 2000 qualifying, Craig Brown's men were taken to fishing village Toftir. Kevin Gallagher called the pitch a cowfield and the wind like Pittodrie on a bad day. The Faroe Islands part-timers equalised in stoppage time, leading to these absolute scenes, and still one of Scotland's most embarrassing results.
Daft little ground, silly game.
But away trips don't come any tougher than a lung-busting schlep up the Andes to face Bolivia in La Paz. But now the Bolivians have taken home advantage to another level. The country's highest city, El Alto, 4,100 metres above sea level. Grass doesn't even grow up here. Bolivia have not lost here yet. The longest unbeaten run in any professional league ever belongs to Red Star Belgrade, or Crvena Zvezda if you must. They've gone 7 years without defeat at the Rajko Mitic in Serbia's Superliga. Their fans are pretty intimidating as well, but they're not as loud as this mob. Galatasaray's Ali Sami Yen Stadium's officially the loudest in world football. In a derby with Fenerbahce, Galatasaray fans set a Guinness World Record of 131 decibels. That's louder than Motorhead, and pretty tough to carry out your manager's instructions when you can't even hear them. However, our most intimidating away day is in Wales, where cameras can't enter and players can't leave. HMP Prescoed. This prison team was briefly kicked out the Gwent League over concerns about young opposition having to go in there. Now that's a tough place to go.
Early June 1939, Germany, always a tough place to go to.
Good morning, 7:05, Tuesday, August the 25th. Been a lively old start. This is TalkSport. It has, hasn't it? Yeah. This is TalkSport Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling, as you gather. Coisty's alongside me, and we're with Arnold Clark's Deal Drop. Get the new car feeling without the new car price. Discover some of their biggest savings and find your next car today. On the way for you this morning, former West Ham and Arsenal defender Carl Jenkinson will join us here in the studio to reflect on his career and talk about the clubs that he was actually played with Mikel Arteta during his days, of course, at Arsenal, and I think Unai Emery was his manager for a brief time there as well. We'll be asking the former Chelsea midfielder Andy Townsend if Enzo Fernandez has a future at Stamford Bridge after Xabi Alonso got off to a winning start last night against Fulham. What are you giggling at?
Oh man, tell me you saw it. Andy was over in I urge all the listeners, Andy was over in Chicago representing Aston Villa. I don't know if you've seen it, Jeff. I'm going to show you. So he didn't know anything about it. I actually spoke to him on a Sunday. He got invited to I think it's Comiskey Park, Chicago White Sox, and then the guy, he didn't know anything about it. The guy handed it to throw the first pitch. By the way, I sent him a message. I said Babe Ruth and Ty Cobb would be shaking in their shoes. It bounced about 4 times. You've got to see this to believe it. It's brilliant.
Brilliant. And talking of Andy Townsend, of course, we'll talk about another of his old club. Ollie Watkins back in Villa training, but still seemingly on his way out of the door. We'll discuss that with the former Villa striker Ross McCormack. But now, a winning start for Xabi Alonso as Chelsea edged out Fulham.
No friends, no past, just points.
You are playing in a derby London against Chelsea, and after 30 seconds you are losing 1-0.
João Pedro's been released by Cole Palmer, and he's off the mark.
What a finish that is from João Pedro.
What a start for Xabi Alonso.
We can do better.
He strikes it brilliantly into the near post and beats Robert Sanchez.
He'd never be scoring from that angle.
Into Lacroix, who gets into the area, takes on the defender, goes on the outside, pulls it through the box. It's got to be Rodgers, surely, to score a debut goal.
I try to be the best assister in the league, you know. So.
Well, this is absolutely outstanding from Lacroix.
Now Pedro's running to the edge of the area now, and he's got Palmer on the overlap, and he puts it through the legs of the goalkeeper and scores. João Pedro, Morgan Rodgers, and Cole Palmer have all scored.
It's not just that they have a score; they have worked good for the team. They have inspired the rest of the team.
He's headed by Gonzalo Garcia, and Fulham close the gap to just one.
You saw some moments where we were the team that we want to be.
We need to build on positive things that we have done, and it's just day one.
Arbeloa's first lesson in English football came from the man who knows him best. It's Fulham 2, Chelsea 3.
Cracking, absolutely cracking game. It wasn't. It was brilliant.
Great game, wasn't it?
Not sure how the two managers felt about it. George says the Chelsea front three is the best we've had since Hazard, Costa and Willian. But the keeper just isn't good enough. I don't see how no one at the club can see that. Look, let's get a viewpoint from a Chelsea fan. And he's not always the happiest Chelsea fan in the world. It's the host of Chelsea Fan TV, Alex Harris. Morning, Alex.
Morning, Alex.
Good morning. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, good. Are you a happy boy this morning?
Of course I'm happy. I mean, I've not had much sleep. I got home at about 3 o'clock, so a little bit tired, but feeling good, feeling very good. It's like when you've had a good party. I mean, you look back on, you go, it was worth it.
Well, here's a quick question for you. We'll start the ball rolling with this one. The first question I asked this morning was, is the Chelsea front three the best front three in the country? I said it's far too early to gauge that. Where do you sit in that one?
I totally agree. I love Palmer. He had a poor season last year. I think João Pedro has had a great pre-season, so he's just continuing that form. And then Morgan Rodgers, ever since he's put on a Chelsea shirt, he's looked good. Yeah. But I've only ever seen him wear a Chelsea shirt twice. Yeah. Yeah. There's not really much to say about the three as a whole, but I think generally we just look like a more mature side. We look like a team that actually field players that other fans would love to have in their side, and I think that's where we're different now. Is people might have heard of Esteval previously, but they'd be like, why is he starting Premier League games? They like players like Pedro Neto, but not necessarily the type of player they'd want to have in their side. And they could have said that about so many players last season. So I think the main thing, and Xabi Alonso's spot on, is we've got players who can drive this team forward and inspire the others. And you need quality to do that, and we've definitely got that.
Yeah, well, look, it was exciting, that is for sure. And going forward, they were absolutely brilliant. On the evidence of what you saw last night, Alex, do you genuinely believe you can push Arsenal?
Nah, I'm not as optimistic as everyone else, because I have seen the depths of what will happen around Christmas time and January. I was there when we beat Barcelona. Everyone thought that we were going to continue to push. It's not easy, but we don't have European football, and that's the ultimate advantage. A lot of people were disappointed about not even having Europa or Conference. I think it was the best thing possible, right? Sure, you could have had a second 11 and done what we did a few years ago under Maresca and basically just played two different sides, but I'm not interested in two different sides. I want one strong team that we can count on a regular basis and just win games consistently. So I predicted third. That's where I think we're going to finish. I'm not even sure who would finish second, to be totally honest. It's about trusting your own team, isn't it, guys? And that front three is fantastic. But then I look in the midfield, and when we don't have Caicedo, there's a massive hole there. One of our best players, Enzo Fernandez, wants to leave. I love the defence in terms of bringing in Lacroix and obviously having James potentially in the back three at times as well. I thought Achimpong was superb. I thought Lacroix was fantastic. But then it's like, what happens if they get injured? So actually, we've gone from having so many players but not enough depth, and now we've brought in some really good ones, but we still don't have enough strength if we have injuries. And I think that's the real issue, is if Lacroix gets injured, if Fernandez and Caicedo aren't available, then what do you do? And that's the problem we find ourselves in now, is maybe we have to spend even more money. But that is a great conversation to have, because I think everyone believes we'll get Champions League football. So the fact that we're pushing on from that is a real step in the right direction.
Do you think at the close of the window, Fernandes will be a Chelsea player?
I mean, I was sort of staring at him after the game, and he did come over, but he just sort of stood there and didn't really clap, and then he walked away on his own. I'm really upset that he's still pushing for a move. At this point, it gets to the stage where it's like, come on, it's just disrespectful. It's not really embarrassing anymore. It's kind of frustrating. And the truth is, the Chelsea fans were great, Against Real Sociedad, half the stadium booed him, half the stadium cheered him. Everyone was supporting him when he came on, apart from obviously the Fulham fans. And it just feels a little bit disrespectful that just before the game you're hearing that he's pushing for a move. I mean, even if we were to sell him for 120 million, then whoever we buy after, whether that's Alex Scott or Adam Wharton, they're just going to add a Chelsea tax anyway. So if you would have got one of those players for 60 million, they're just going to ask for 80 or ask for 100, because it's last minute for us. It's going to be even later for them. So I just don't see how it makes any sense. You're not going to be able to replace the goals and assists. That's just not going to happen. But what you might be able to have is a little bit more stability. But it's just a bit of an annoying situation, because we're on the up, and then we've got one bad apple in there, and that's something that doesn't need to happen, but it is happening, unfortunately.
Alex, brilliant. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, Alex.
Pleasure, guys.
All the best.
Here's a quick question for you, Coisty.
Yes.
Xabi Alonso or Alvaro Arbeloa, who's got the toughest job?
Oh, it's a great question, because it's all about expectations.
I wanted to ask it.
It's all about expectations. Yeah. Arbeloa, I think.
But I think it's a close run thing.
Yeah.
Because it is expectations.
Yes, it's expectations. But if you're a coach, I don't think there's any doubt you'd rather be dealing with the Chelsea players. And that sounds hell of a disrespectful to the Fulham players, who are very, very good. But I just think there's more talent in the Chelsea squad. So as a coach, you'd probably rather handle them.
Yeah. Ben in Ware says £3 billion spent, and Chelsea have still got Robert Sanchez in goal. How is that possible? He'll cost them at least 6 points this season. Big thanks to Alex Harris from Chelsea TV there. Coming up, we'll continue to take your calls on the England cricket team, 03717 22 We'll also find out if Ali thinks he would beat a robot at Jenga. That's next.
Yeah, fair play to Hull. I think Sergei Yakirovich is going to prove to be a very tactically astute manager. He's got Dean Holden as his assistant, obviously a boyhood United fan, but he was absolutely buzzing with that win over his club, and they deserved it, Hull. I thought they were brilliantly organised. I've pretty much been the only pundit on talkSPORT, and I think they've got a chance of staying up, and maybe people will come round to that way of thinking now. But the lack of energy, effort and endeavour from those Manchester United players is unforgivable. The bare minimum away from home against a newly promoted team on the opening day of the season, you have to match their levels of commitment. And these United players did not do that. And is it a surprise? You look at people like Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, these players have been part of the problem for too long, haven't they?
So is Carlos Baleba the answer to your problems then? And is it going to happen, Crookie?
It's going to happen. I'm told it could even be announced as early as today. Whether he's the answer or not, I don't know, because you look at United defensively, so poor, the 2 goals they conceded. I've mentioned Shaw already. They definitely need an upgrade in the left-back department. It seems to be every summer they target one area of the team, the United hierarchy. Last summer it was the forward line, obviously bringing Cunha and Mbumo and Šeško. This time it's 3 midfielders. Tillerman's miles off the pace for me at Hull, and Santos didn't cover himself in glory, but hopefully from United's perspective they'll improve. They've got to work on that defence. You know, I don't trust any of the central defenders, to be honest. I know they've got Martinez and De Ligt to come back, but can they stay fit? History tells us probably not. Lenny Yoro's not ready yet, nor is Heaven on what we saw at the weekend. And as I say, Maguire's been there a long time now. You can't question his character.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for 2 to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Good morning, 19 minutes past 7 if you're watching the clock. This is talkSPORT Breakfast. I'm Jeff Stelling. Ally McCoist is with me. We've been discussing all morning what happens next with the ongoing England cricket saga. That news yesterday that Brian Carse has been withdrawn from the England squad for the next test following an incident, in inverted commas, at a nightclub in Derby. Terry's given us a call. Morning, Terry.
Morning, Terry.
Morning, lads. How you going, Harry?
Yeah, good, mate.
Good
yeah.
for him. What are you thinking?
Well, Stelling, you're missing the point. First of all, you don't like gravy, and that's not right, is it? It's inexcusable. You say these lads are away. I've just watched Tour de France this summer. They're in Spain now. They're away. They never get arrested. These lads get arrested once a bloody week.
Tour de France. Hey, whoa, Terry. Tour de France. Have you not noticed the number of them have been done for drug taking during over the course of the years?
Yeah, but
you can't use that as an example, Terry. It just is not a good example. The point is, Paul has texted here. Paul's texted. Terry, wait. I'll come back to you, honestly, I promise you. Paul has texted, said, cricket being away from him is a lousy excuse. My nephew's just back from an 8-month tour on a submarine, went out with shipmates on a 3-day bender, and no one was arrested. And I take his point, but they are not targets. And the England cricket team, they're targets. They go out for a night out, and they are targets, aren't they?
Well, my point on the cyclists, lads, were they're professional. The problem with the England cricket lot is they're unprofessional. You should not be raking about at 4 in the morning as a privileged athlete, sportsman, whatever you want to call them, on big money when people are going to be out for it. You know, there's blokes out there, working blokes. They're not going to want these lads coming with all the flash money and the nice clothes and that. They'll be targets. So they need to learn from that. How can they not learn? They're not professional enough, in my opinion. That's my point regarding cyclists. They would never do it. They won't be out at 4 in the morning for one thing because they're athletes.
Yeah.
You know, these lads do it all the time, and it's like, when are you going to wake up and smell coffee? They need a coffee. Never mind going out to lash.
Fair enough, Terry. Terry, when you have your Sunday dinner, try it without gravy this week. See what you think.
Rather jump off a cliff than do that coffee.
Brilliant, Terry. Thanks, mate. Cheers, pal.
I'm sorry, I could not take part in that. You lost me when you said Terry Waite.
Yeah. Right, time for our next coffee break.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Get a regular Costa Express drink as part of your Tesco meal deal at participating Tesco stores. Terms and conditions apply.
I don't know what's happened to this programme. Katie Shanahan's back with us.
Hello.
What are you going to talk about?
I've just had a look. This
is exactly what we're
So
going to
would
talk
I.
about.
So would I.
The Robot Olympics. Strap yourselves in. Is this a sign of things to come?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
No.
Have you seen it? Have you seen any of it?
Yeah.
I saw the guy beat the 100 metre. The guy. I saw that robot. I saw the robot beat Usain Bolt's 100 metres.
Yes.
I don't like this, Jeff.
So what? Look, a horse can run 100 metres faster than Usain Bolt as well. We don't make a big deal out of that, do we?
Well, he did it in 9.39 seconds, 19 seconds faster. That's not right. Than Usain Bolt.
No.
So what?
I don't like
It's
it.
quite amusing, though. There's a
like
robot Ronaldo. He scores a free kick and then does a celebration. Yeah.
Did you see him run into the wall after the race and then he backed off and then he blew a fuse? I was delighted when he blew a fuse. I actually was.
What, when he went into the crash mat?
You could see all the sparks flying and all that.
The Robot Olympics, it has to be the most pointless thing in the history of pointless things.
I agree. But we're missing the big picture. AI is getting out of hand.
Okay.
I'm telling you. It's getting out of hand. AI. It's going to do jobs for a kick-off. And then I saw an interview.
So at least we won't have any more stories about missed flights then, will we?
I saw an interview with one of the guys that was really AI at the start, and he said, it's getting out of hand here, he said. And I'm with him. I am not happy with AI. It's getting out of hand, guys. You heard it here first.
Okay, well, I use AI daily, so there we go. Yes, I do, yeah.
What for?
AI just for everything. Jack, do you not use AI at all?
Is that, if I want that question answered on my phone, is that AI?
ChatGPT, you've got Claude, you got everything. So anything can... It's similar to Google. You can kind of use it like that.
Yeah, I know, but here's another one. What about that? Some of the kids are using it for exams and all that. What's that all about?
Well, it can help give you an idea and then, help write a script or emails or anything. Anyway, Robot Olympics. Let's come back to this because I feel as though that's just open Pandora's box. But
well, they're going to win it. They're going to beat us, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? If it's the Robot Olympics, let's be honest about it.
Well, he's already beaten Usain Bolt.
There you go.
Goes into a crash mat.
The shot put will end up in 211 metres. You know.
Well, there are events like boxing, high jump, table tennis, weightlifting. We could show you is very funny.
Well, there you are. Table tennis. I was in Dubai, right?
So here's the weightlifting.
And I took on
Honestly, Katie, who cares? It's a chunk of metal.
But it's quite amusing.
No personality, no human relationship. We can't relate to them.
I was in Dubai and I took on the goalie. I mean, Trevor Stephen and I were in Dubai and we took on the AI goalie. And there's about 8 or 9 guys there. And it's just, and it was lights and all that stuff, and he was diving up. He was nearly unbeatable.
David's just said, he says, why are we talking about robots? There's enough sport to focus on. Jeff's worst nightmare, says Jake. Well, actually, it's not a bad idea. Robot referees one day.
Oh,
no. Just joking.
Got them.
Well, we've got Robot Ronaldo. What would Robot Jeff look like?
Cool. That's a good question.
I don't know.
Ali?
No. Well, they have short legs.
Ali, what would Robot Ali McCoist look like?
Robot Jeff wouldn't be beating Usain Bolt's 100 metres, because I can tell you that. There's no chance he's beating that. I'm concerned about it. Right?
Do you think a robot could host the breakfast show?
Easy.
Well, I don't think easy.
Well, they don't know what they're programmed to do it so easy. I mean...
Okay, football cliches. What do you think we could put in first to the robot?
Easily a game of 2 halves. A game of 2 halves. Easily. I'm so anti this, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I mean, even though you did say that you contemplated replacing Wee Viv with a robot. I mean, I don't want to give away your best secret.
And she's listening now. It's past 7 o'clock.
I'm in trouble. It's past 7 o'clock. There's no way a robot would possibly, if I'm hosting from the home, produce my porridge and berries at 7:45. That's just not happening. There's no robot made that can do that.
But just to bring a bit more context around the Robot Olympics, I know you guys are big fans, but so it's taking place in Beijing. There are 2,000...
Oh, it's actually happening?
Yes! That's the whole point of why we're talking about it. The Robot Olympics, it finishes tomorrow. There's 2,056 robots, 666 teams, 16 countries across 6 continents, 51 different events. You know, you've got the athletics, ridiculous. The boxing, table tennis.
It's farcical. And by the way, 16 countries, that's not exactly a big proportion of the world, is it?
How much money's going into that? I mean, that's nonsense.
A lot.
Who's watching that?
No.
Saying, oh, this is a good idea.
Well, I've seen crowds. There are crowds,
but
watching.
No one outside of China is watching it. Nobody's interested in it.
Yeah.
This is such a waste of 10 minutes of radio. I'm sorry, nobody cares.
The highlight for me was when I saw it. Did you see it when it blew a fuse after beating that record?
Well, it was very funny when it went to the crash mat.
It got the crash mat, and then it went backwards, and then there was just an explosion of fuses, and I thought, yes.
And then they kind of come out and collect them on a stretcher.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I just got a text on the cricket, which I want to tell you about. Okay. Morning, gents. I think you got it all wrong. Why should cricketers not be allowed to be normal and have a drink like everyone else? It's the people looking for a ride from them. Cricket hasn't gone. It's society. Everyone should be able to enjoy themselves. That's from Brooksy. Thanks, Harry. It can't be Harry Brooks. Harry Brook, rather. It can't be. Wouldn't it be brilliant? And thanks. Look, Katie, thanks for that enlightening.
You know what? I think that was my best segment yet.
Insight.
When they were like, Katie, you want to do Robot Olympics? I was quite a fan of it, but clearly you two aren't. No.
Yeah.
I'll be back with more.
Brilliant. And Andy says Robot Ali would be worth a fortune in scrap metal. Oh, love it. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks.
That was all thanks to Costa Express. You see, robots couldn't make a good coffee. They just couldn't do it. Coming up, we'll turn our attention to Aston Villa and what on earth is going on with Ollie Watkins.
The Costa Coffee Break on talkSPORT, sponsored by Costa Express. Get a regular Costa Express drink as part of your Tesco meal deal at participating Tesco stores. Terms and conditions apply.
Yeah, all right, boys, how you doing?
Yeah, very good. Good to have you on. What do you want to say?
I just want to say this stinky Arsenal chat from you boys this morning is nothing short of comical.
Go on.
Gabby saying that Arsenal should be winning the league with our spending. Well, both of you. You know, recruitment's a big part of it. Look at the likes of City. Well, not City, but likes of Chelsea, United. They've spent loads of money. It's not a given that you're going to win the league. I think we've proven, you know, the culture Arteta's built alongside getting the right recruitment, bringing Berta in. You know, it's impressive.
Yeah.
So you don't think the money that you spent, you should be winning the Premier League?
I don't think it's got anything to do with the money. I think it's got to do with the quality.
You know what?
I think the quality of your squad is so good that you should be winning the league.
It costs a lot of money.
Definitely.
I agree. And that says more about the recruitment than just pure spending. Obviously, pure spending comes into it, but it doesn't mean that it's a given that we're going to win the league. Or I think we will win the league, but it isn't just as simple as saying we should be winning it. Arteta's not that good of a manager because of the spending.
Who said that?
Disagree with that. Well, that's what the sort of the signs I was getting from Gabby before. It was sort of like he should be winning the league.
No, when I'm saying you should win in the league, have you spent wisely? Yes, you have. Have you spent on players that have become fantastic players? Yes, you have. But you can't look at Arsenal's net spend over the last 6 years is nearly 800 million. You can't look at that and say, well, you know, we shouldn't be winning the Premier League.
Over the last few years, Formula One has gone from elitist and insular to a global entertainment brand. The transformation's down to American investment group Liberty Media, who cultivated a new image for the sport since buying it in 2016. Better access to drivers, improved content on social media, and tapping into the US market have given F1 a massive boost in both attention and revenues. But is everyone happy? The fans certainly are, as evidenced by Drive to Survive. Almost 7 million people per season have tuned in to get all the gossip and all the drama from the paddock. The extra exposure means the drivers can demand a higher salary too. In 2010, the top drivers were earning $20 million a year, which isn't bad. But now, the very best earn 3 times that, with Max Verstappen getting a whopping $65 million in 2025. But money doesn't always buy happiness. Some drivers, including Verstappen, don't like the pageantry the changes have brought about. In Las Vegas in 2023, Verstappen said the drivers were made to look like clowns, and the event was 99% performance and 1% race. Some purists who still watch the sport feel the same, and that the spirit of competition has suffered. But Formula One and Liberty Media don't look like slowing down anytime soon. So expect more races, major events and exclusive access in future.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling. Ali McCoist is alongside me. They've not replaced them with robots just yet. We're with Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. Robin Livingston says the Robot Olympics. Not sure many records will be broken in the swimming. Fantastic. Now, Spurs got their campaign off to an abysmal start when they were beaten 3-0 at Brentford on Saturday evening. Darren Bent had his say yesterday on Drive. He reckons despite their mass spending this summer, they've got worse.
I looked at the starting 11 and I almost thought, hold on a second there. What's happening there? Like, why is that the starting 11? You spent so much, and I get it. I know they've got people out like Van der Ven and these type of players, right? But they still had Mateus Fernandes, who they spent 85 million on the bench. James Maddison, who's probably their most creative player, was on the bench. Solanke, who is an international, could have started up front. Bentancur can play in the middle of the park as well. I looked at the starting 11 and thought, how have you spent so much money and it looks like you've got worse?
Look at the front three.
I mean, Richarlison, who I actually don't mind Richarlison. I mean, he annoys me, but I don't really mind him. And I like Mikey Moore. He's a good young player, who will get better. I think he's got a lot of ability. And Mateus Tell. But Gallagher in the 10.
I mean, that's all of that. What you just said is appalling.
I mean, Gallagher in the 10. I like Gallagher, but he just legs and energy. Whereas Maddison's the creative spark that you need.
Look, I mean, obviously there's a desperate result. Did he get his team selection wrong?
Oh, I take Benty's point, actually. When you look at the bench, I mean, Solanke's an out-and-out centre forward, Richarlison, there's not a lot to pick between them. You could argue pros and cons, but whether he gets team selection wrong or not, the performance was not acceptable, and there has to be an improvement there, that's for sure. I mean, there's been some shockers at the start of the season. Villa would be one, Spurs obviously as well, would be another one, Manchester United. And it is the first game, I accept that, but that was disappointing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it could have been a lot more than 3, let's be honest about it. Well, you mentioned Villa. Ollie Watkins is back in training with Villa, but is he still on his way out of the door?
Can he get there? He's round the keeper. Ollie Watkins for Aston Villa.
talkSPORT understands a deal between Al Hilal over in Saudi Arabia and Villa is close now.
You don't keep players that want to play elsewhere if they think the grass is greener and it's based on money.
Unai Emery, while he's a top coach, and all of those things are fantastic, if he doesn't like you, he mugs you off better than anybody.
Silence. We are the players we are today here. It's okay. We are not speaking about.
You're in that dressing room, and successively, you're seeing player after player leave that dressing room. He wants to go. He wants to, because he's seeing what's going out the door. But Aston Villa are having to trade.
It's been a difficult time for Unai Emery and all Villa fans as well. With Ollie Watkins missing Sunday's game, I beg your pardon, against Brighton, and of course the team then got an absolute thumping, picked up a red card as well. Let's speak to a man who once found himself in a similar position to Ollie Watkins during his time at Aston Villa. Very good morning to the former Villa striker, Ross McCormack. Morning, Ross.
Morning, Ross. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I tell you what, I would have took Ollie Watkins' situation at Villa over mine, that's for sure.
In all seriousness, I think we all would, Ross. In all seriousness, mate, we'll move on to the Watkins situation, but I mean, what is going on at Villa? How do you feel right now if you're a Villa fan? You're looking at, the squad being obliterated effectively, whether it's Digne, Tielemans, Rodgers, Console, these boys. Looks like Watkins going to go as well. I mean, how are the fans feeling, and how's Unai Emery can't be happy, can he?
Well, that's the bigger question for me, Coist, is how Unai Emery feels, because listen, if he feels that he's not getting the backing that he clearly deserves, because he's one of the best managers in the Premier League, then the worry probably for the Villa fans is not just what they see on the field. This manager, could just up sticks and leave. Mm-hmm. That would be my worry for the Villa fans.
So I mean, Ross, can you put your finger on why so many everybody seems to want to get out of Villa? They've got Champions League coming up. Why do so many players want to leave?
I've got no idea. It just seems to be a domino effect at the minute, doesn't it? It's not even. Sometimes you can understand them letting a few squad players go here and there, but these are the key players. I mean, just name them: Tielemans, Rodgers, Konza. Even you look at Roma last night. Daniel Malin goes and scores a hat trick, and they're playing without a striker at the weekend. It's incredible what's going on.
How concerning? I know it's only the start of the season, Ross, and I get that. We'll say it and correctly say it on numerous occasions. However, the weekend, dearie me, particularly opening 30, 35 minutes, that was a real concern, was it not?
it was a doing, wasn't it? Brighton looked as if they were going to score every time they went forward. 4-0 down, half time. I mean, they must have got in the door at half time and just thought, what is happening here? Let's just keep this. Yeah. Let's just keep it at 4 and get out of here. But it's very, very concerning. I think they'll get probably 2 or 3 players in. They definitely need it. And then if Watson goes, dearie me, it looks bleak.
So, look, we started off this, Ross, by saying that you once found yourself in a similar position to Ollie Watkins at Villa. So, I mean, what happened to you?
What happened to me?
Yeah.
Well, if the rumours are true, I wasn't able to get over a 3-foot gate, Jeff.
Of course. Oh, yeah.
But no, listen, I can hold my hands up for part of it as well. I wasn't, as good as I was at Leeds and Fulham when I turned up at Aston Villa. I was going through a lot of personal stuff as well. So it just wasn't a great time in my life. And then the football just adds to it, follows suit, doesn't it? So listen, it is what it is. But listen, Ollie Watkins a far better player than I ever was. And the situation he finds himself in, he probably looks at it and thinks, well, this is the one chance I'm going to get to go and earn absolute fortune. So me looking at it, I don't blame him.
No, I don't think MD can. Honestly, we spoke about it before.
Well, people do, believe you me, because of the text I'm getting. People do blame him.
Well, in what respect? Wanting to earn that money?
Well, Ben from Birmingham says, disappointed with Watkins. It's the manner of how he's gone about it. Take Jack Grealish, for example. He was training with the first team the day before his move. Says, just have a bit of class. Footballers need to remember where their bread is buttered. Without the fans, nothing is possible.
Well, he's 100% right with that statement. However, I don't think anybody could. I'm saying I don't think anybody. I can't grudge Ollie Watkins, for example, Ross. I don't know in agreement going and getting all sorts of money that sets him, his family. Whether it's the right time to do it at 30 years of age, or you want to do it when you're 32, 34, I don't know. But it's sometimes an opportunity staring you in the face for looking after your family and your family's family that you just can't say no to.
Yeah, I mean, it goes on for generations, doesn't it? The money that they're paying over in Saudi. So I'm the same as you, because I don't blame him. Understand what Jeff's saying about Jack training with the first team the day before his move, but you don't know what's going on behind closed doors as well. Unai Emery might have said, well, listen, if you want to go, you're not training with the first team, and he might not have had that chance to train with the first team. So listen, you just don't know what's going on. But for me, looking at it from the outside, if I'm Ollie Watkins, you're 30 years of age, you've got a chance to probably go and be one of the top earners in Saudi, because let's be honest, Al Hilal, Al Nassr, they're the two top clubs. Go and fill your boots, son.
Yeah. Listen, you mentioned, I talk briefly where we've got you, Ross. We'll go to Fulham eventually, but Leeds, great result, late winner, a tough opening game for them at Forest.
Yeah, I think they'll be over the moon with that. I thought they looked, they didn't look in massive amounts of danger. I think Trafford helps. That's incredible sign. I was looking at the start of summer, they've lost 2 goalkeepers and they're left with Alex Cairns, who I was at Leeds with. I know he's a good goalkeeper, but he's got no experience in terms of playing in the Premier League. But to then go and get Trafford, that gives the whole place a lift, fans, everyone. And they've looked good pre-season, they have. And to get that result, away to Forest, a tough place to go, and now they're at home to Brentford on Sunday, which I'll be down at watching. So I'm looking forward to that.
Brilliant. You confident Fulham will be okay this season, Ross?
Jeff, I'm a little bit worried, I'll be honest with you. I think the type of football that they're going to be playing, they're going to give a lot of chances away. But I think they'll score goals, but the worry is just probably how many they'll concede. Have they got enough quality in the final third to go and outscore opposition in the Premier League? I'm not so sure right now, but I think, as I said earlier about Aston Villa, I think they'll probably get another 2 or 3 in. I think they need them. They've lost Jimenez, Harry Wilson as well, who were big players for them. So I think it'll be a tough season for them, transition season under Arbeloa. I think they'll just be okay.
Brilliant. Ross, thanks for your time, mate.
Great to see you, man. All the best.
No problem, guys. Take care.
Take care.
The former Villa, Fulham and Leeds striker Ross McCormick. Do you think that's a possibility? And I'm not sure how concerned he would be that Ollie Watkins has sort of potentially burned his bridges. I mean, if this move to Saudi falls through for any reason, what does he do then?
There's only one thing he can do. That's knuckle down, try and get back into the Villa team. whether the Villa fans accept that, which I think they would. I do. As we saw, there's one or two of them disappointed in the way things are turning out, and I get that. I understand that. But if it doesn't happen, that's the only option he's got.
Let's hope from his point of view it doesn't come to that. Couple of texts about robots. One of the robots was caught cheating in the 100 metres, so they've now got him up on a charge. Thank you. And this is great. Boom, boom. This is better. Robot Olympics, weightlifting. Can I enter my forklift truck? Which is fantastic. Still to come on breakfast.
Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Spend £100 or more in-store or online as a trade account holder and you could win a brand new Ford Ranger. T's and C's apply.
A little later in the show, Carl Jenkinson, FA Cup winner of the Gunners, will be joining us. We'll find out whether he reckons Mikel Arteta can make it 2 league titles in a row. Plus, we'll bring you some more transfer news and whether Liverpool fans can expect movement in and out of the door. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Want to win a brand new Ford Ranger? Just spend £100 or more using your Travis Perkins trade account to enter into the draw. T's and C's apply.
Would you both have expected better than what you saw from Tottenham? And I think the answer
I'm
to
not
that
surprised
is,
that they lost.
Oh, yes.
I'm not surprised that they lost, but the
Not
manner...
taking anything away from Brentford, though.
No, the manner in which they lost surprised me.
Right.
There didn't seem to be any
Right.
fight or any change in gear, or the mindset hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. A soft underbelly from Spurs, and they're going to have to eradicate that very quickly.
And both of you think they'll do one hell of a lot better than 17th.
Well, they've,
so
with
do you
the players
still
they're now
have
buying,
heightened
yes.
expectations that they might be top half? Then they might be top 6.
No, I'm thinking top half of the table. I'm not saying they're going to be, it would be a surprise. They could do 6th, 7th, but they're going to have to improve massively, Jim, from what we saw at the weekend. And where are these players that have been injured for so long? Look, there's an awful lot of players.
Fit, isn't he?
Van der Ven wasn't available. Jim, you look at the back four, there's hardly anybody playing from last season. So they're facts, but get them fit then. Let's get them out there.
We saw Newcastle yesterday and how they went about it. We saw, they're at home, yeah. But we saw Tottenham and how they went about it. It was chalk and cheese.
But I think this is great for De Zerbi because he'll sort the wheat from the chaff. And for me, I don't have any expectation of Tottenham. They're not my football club. So, I don't particularly admire their board and I don't particularly like their manager. So I don't have an objective view. So I'm quite happy to see them struggle. But that's me being mean-spirited. But you would, for the Tottenham fans, who are plenty of my friends are Tottenham fans, you've gone to Brentford. You've been battered. You could have got beat 7.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for 2 to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
A very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. Just before we move on, Alexander makes an interesting point. He says Mo Salah left a year ago. He never got his Saudi move. Now playing in Turkey. And another text, he said, let Ali know there is a Scottish version already of AI. It's called Okai. Very good. Right, this Saturday, Moses Itoma bids to become Britain's youngest ever heavyweight world champion. So let's look ahead to the big fight now with DAZN.
Big fight build-up on talkSPORT with DAZN. This Saturday, witness history as Moses bids to become Britain's youngest ever heavyweight world champion. Exclusively on DAZN's Saturday Fight Night.
Yeah, big fight to come this weekend. Can Itoma add his name to a long list of British heavyweight champions?
Britain, we have the best crock of heavyweights we've had.
Surely that Greg Bruno has entered boxing history. The pride of Great Britain,
in heavyweight boxing, he can be arguably called the best British heavyweight of all time.
David Hay is the WBA heavyweight champion of the world. Lift off for AJ!
He really reminded me of our prime Lennox Lewis.
Uppercut from Fury, followed by the left hand and another right. Down goes the shoulder, and the referee has waved the fight over.
Do you expect to knock out Anthony Joshua?
By any means necessary. Knockout, whatever way it comes.
Anthony Joshua.
Boys, we have got a new player at the very top table.
Big fight coming up then, and this Saturday talkSPORT will bring you live commentary. It's Moses Itoma against the experienced Filip Hrgović at London's O2. Itoma said he wants to be considered a great when all is said and done. But who are the greatest British heavyweights as it stands right now? So, Ali, we want to know your top 5 British heavyweights of all time.
Oh, there we go. Right. I've got a top 3, and the other 4 and 5 can be debated, right? Lennox Lewis, Fury, and Joshua.
What, in that order?
Probably, yeah. Yeah, probably in that order. That's my 3. And then we'll go down to... Now, I've written some names down, and a few of them I grew up with, and so would you have. Like Henry Cooper.
Yeah.
Joe Bugner. Dubois would have to get him into the equation. David Hay would get a mention. Now, one I don't remember, but I knew I was doing this, and a wee look. A really interesting one was a gentleman called Tommy Farr, right? Who
before our time.
Yes,
I think.
Definitely before our time. So I think I've nailed my 3. Would be Lewis, Fury, and Joshua.
Yeah,
and then maybe I'd probably go sentimental, go Henry Cooper, and Dubois or Bugner. Probably Dubois.
Okay. I don't think you can have Joe Bugner in because, you know, Joe famously would not throw a punch.
And he was Hungarian and Australian, probably.
Yeah, he may have been, but he's very statuesque as well. Henry, obviously, has got the famous, Ali fights, which means that.
Do you remember the cut glove? Was it the cut glove after he put Ali? Well, it was Cassius Clay at the time, wasn't it? He put Cassius Clay in the canvas, and then the next minute, Cassius Clay had a slice in his glove or something like that, which gave him an extra, whatever it was, to recover.
Yeah, although you have to say, obviously, Cassius Clay Muhammad Ali was going to say he was a cut above any British heavyweight. He was more than a cut above any British heavyweight. He was absolutely miles ahead of them. So look, Moses Itoma then. Look, it's early days for him.
I'm excited.
Could you see in years to come him breaking into your list of the top 5?
Yes, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I'm really excited. Probably not as excited as Big Al. Big Al is way over the top. But I think when I look at him, he moves quicker than your average heavyweights for sure.
Smarty says, by the way, before we go there, Frank Bruno. No Bruno?
Oh, I'll get Bruno in there. Hold on a minute. I gave you Bruno as well last night. Apologies to Frank. Frank's definitely in there. Frank's in with Henry Cooper. Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wrote that down last night and I forgot him this morning. Definitely Bruno, without doubt. Getting back to the point, Moses. I just think he's exciting. He's exciting, a young boxing talent as we have had in years and years and years. And then we all get carried away and make comparisons, but it probably excites me. Maybe not just as much as a young Tyson, Mike Tyson, but nearly. And I think that's all bodes well for the future. And it was interesting when we had Frank on the other day, and he said that's him. He's letting him go now, obviously for a world title fight. But how do you monitor a youngster like that coming through and deciding when the time's right? You know what I mean? It's really, really interesting because you want him to obviously clearly get all the experience he can, but they'll want to go, they'll want to run before they can walk. And how do you hold them back? But I just think in terms of the talent that we see, Jeff, wow, he really looks the real deal. Yeah. You're not excited yourself watching him?
Not as well. Haven't seen enough of him to know, to be absolutely honest. I just find boxing on there are so many different versions of titles.
Yeah,
that it just dilutes things a little bit. Webbo sent his in. He said Lewis, Fury, Joshua in this order. Bruno and David Hay and the Haymaker. He also says, let's hope no Olympic robot makes the top 5 in years to come, which is a very fair point. Are you confident that Tomer will beat Hrgović? Because he's been around the block a few times.
No, he's a difficult opponent. And I heard Tomer speak about him, and rightly so, shows him a lot of respect. Very, very dangerous opponent. But I think Moses will have too much for him. Early.
We shall see. Promised to be a cracking fight. That was a look ahead to a Tomer against Hrgović with DAZN. Join DAZN Ultimate for 185 plus fight nights and 12 plus pay-per-views every year, including a Tomer against Hrgović, all included at no extra cost. Buy now at DAZN.com.
Big fight build-up on talkSPORT with DAZN. This Saturday, witness history as Moses bids to become Britain's youngest ever heavyweight world champion, exclusively on DAZN's Saturday Fight Night.
Texty says, always negativity about Watkins going to the Middle East to earn a fortune. Did you have the same negativity when Ronaldo decided to go there? I don't think there was any negativity. Coyce, you were very positive about him going.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was.
Yeah,
definitely positive.
Yeah. And Robbie in Surrey. Thanks to this, Robbie. Robot Olympics. The 800-metre track was measured at 790 metres. It was a short circuit.
That's the best one yet.
Brilliant. Yeah.
That's the best one yet.
Well done, Robbie. Fantastic. Coming up, we'll bring you the latest from the world of transfers and what could be some very interesting news for Liverpool and Spurs fans. You won't want to miss this.
For the record, we've had 7 different Premier League winners.
Over 33 years, over 34 years.
But this time...
Wow.
But this time, Simon, do you not agree that this is probably the most competitive ever Premier League season on the horizon?
For participation, not for winning. You're going to be one of the 4 clubs that has the biggest turnovers is going to win the league. Aston Villa are not going to win the league. Newcastle are not going to win the league.
So how do you explain Leicester when they did it?
A rare and absolute anomaly that was never allowed to happen again because all the big clubs sat on their hands, suddenly decided that they could all do things in a certain way, and they got caught with their pants down, even to the way that they allowed Leicester to play. Everybody knew how Leicester played. Drinkwater gets the ball, looks up, knocks it long for Vardy, and yet on the last game of the season they were doing the same thing, and teams were still playing the same way against them. So don't ask me how I explain that situation, but it's not going to be repeated, and it hasn't been repeated since, and that was now a decade ago. So who's won the league since then, and who won the league prior to that?
So tell me straight, how many teams this time around do you feel can aspire to win the Premier League?
2, 3. But that doesn't mean the league's not competitive. The argument, why would you suggest that governance needs to be brought in to the most successful league that has been the commercially most successful league in the history of football? Why are you regulating it? What are you regulating it from? I understand what he's saying is that the Premier League clubs want some degree of control. They want governance. Yeah, they want good disciplines. They want good governance. They want good regulation. Is your regulation with the consequences of the way that clubs are suing one another now, the way that they're suing, the way that Man City...
Aguero, Solskjaer, Deeney, Watkins,
Sure, you know all about those last-minute goals, but have you heard the one about the on-loan goalkeeper who saved his temporary employers from disappearing out the Football League and into almost certain financial oblivion? Back in 1999, Carlisle United, managed by Nigel Pearson, were fighting to stay in the Football League. Carlisle's finances were precarious with a capital P that season, leading to a scenario where, with 3 games to go, they had to ask the FA to sanction an emergency loan deal to bring in a goalkeeper. Swindon Town's Jimmy Glass arrived at the club. His efforts in his first 2 games earned the Cumbrians 2 draws. Those vital points meant that Carlisle went into their final game of the Division 3 season, now League 2, needing to beat mid-table Plymouth Argyle in front of their own fans and hope their relegation rival Scarborough didn't win against Peterborough at home. The game at the McCain Stadium finished 1-1, and with the same scoreline at Brunton Park deep into injury time, Scarborough's fans invaded the pitch en masse, believing their Football League status was secure, convinced they'd done enough to stay up. However, there'd be one more plot twist. Carlisle won a corner in the dying seconds, and up came Jimmy Glass. In one of those you couldn't make it up moments, Glass scored from a rebounded header and was promptly swamped by teammates and thousands of fans who quite simply couldn't believe what they'd just witnessed. As for Jimmy Glass, he became an overnight celebrity, but he never played for Carlisle again, and his playing career never really kicked on after that defining moment. He took on various jobs outside of football before finding his way back into the sport as player liaison officer at Eddie Howe's Bournemouth, and most recently the general manager at non-league Wimborne. Not the fairy tale ending to one of the most Hollywood moments in football, but the name Jimmy Glass will live on forever as the scorer of that goal, arguably the most important in any club's history.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Donald Clark's Deal Drop. Get the new car feeling without the new car price. Discover some of their biggest savings and find your next car today. You've all got involved in these Robot Olympics, that is for sure. Andrew says the catering at the Robot Olympic Village is easy. All the athletes needed chips. Very good, really. And Chris the Gooner, Robot Olympic football final was delayed by an hour. All the players needed rebooting. Right, now it is time for this.
Breaking news on talkSPORT.
Okay, let's find out what the breaking news is. I'm glad to say that joining us now is talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. What have you got for us, Crookie?
Morning, boys. Yeah, interesting. If you're a Liverpool fan listening this morning, obviously opened their account for the season with a comeback 2-2 draw at Newcastle at the weekend. The squad did look a little bit short, though, didn't it? Particularly when you cast your eye over the Liverpool bench. It's no secret that they've been interested all summer in signing Bradley Barcola from PSG, the back-to-back Champions League winner. Optimism in France overnight. This deal will get done between now and the transfer window closing at 11 o'clock next Tuesday. And it could have knock-on effects as well for Cody Gakpo. Again, Tottenham's interest in him is well known. We wondered if they may move on, having agreed a deal with Manchester City for Savinho. But no, I'm told Tottenham still very much at the negotiating table when it comes to Cody Gakpo. So it could be that Liverpool are now willing to cash in on Gakpo in order to facilitate this move for Bradley Barker. I think in an ideal world, they want 2 more forward players before sanctioning the sale of Cody Gakpo. There was talk yesterday that Manchester City are also interested in the Dutchman. I'm told that isn't likely at this stage, that he moves to the Etihad. If he goes anywhere, Gakpo, it could well be Tottenham, and I think that would be a really good addition for Roberto De Zerbi's side.
It's an interesting one, Crookie, because I don't think there's any chance of going to Man City. Any chance at all. But I think Jeff rightly points out, I thought he's one of Liverpool's better players at the weekend.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously scored a fine goal from outside the penalty area, had a little sighter over the crossbar just before that. But I think this maybe tells you where Liverpool are financially. It was a massive summer of investment last year. Hasn't really borne fruit so far when you look at Alexander Isak, who spent most of last season injured and wilted for me on his return to St James's Park at the weekend. And obviously Florian Wirtz still finding his feet in the Premier League. But we know that Fenway Sports, the majority owners there, have pretty frugal historically. So I think in order to get Barker done, they may well have to cash in on Gakpo. As I say, I think they would like a second forward player as well. They're also looking at Mbaye, a young winger at PSG. So it could be quite a busy end to the transfer window for Liverpool. But I agree. I thought Gakpo was certainly going forward one of their better players. I thought Rio Ngamoa struggled against Lewis Hall. As I've mentioned, Isak looked like he'd rather be anywhere else but back in the northeast.
There's lots of things I don't get about this at all, to be honest, Crookie. First of all, financial limitations. Hasn't Jeff Bezos just bought a share in the club? And secondly, from a Liverpool perspective, it seems almost an obsession with attacking wide players. For me, they need to strengthen their midfield and they need to strengthen at fullback.
Yeah, Milos Kerkez has not really lived up to the hype, has he, so far, and obviously was outpaced by Elanga for the first goal. No disgrace in that when you look how rapid Anthony Elanga is. But yeah, maybe both fullbacks I think are open to question, and maybe at the heart of the defence as well. Listen, they've invested a lot of money in Jeremy Jacquet, who obviously made his debut at the weekend. They have high hopes for him, but Virgil van Dijk is not getting any younger. I guess midfield-wise, they did have Alexis McAllister on the bench at the weekend, but it was a problem last season, wasn't it? And they do look a little bit too open. I think there's going to be lots of goals in matches involving Liverpool this season.
I'll be just a little bit concerned. I'm with you, Crookie. I mean, particularly Liverpool fans that I speak to, I mean, the full-back position, there is no, I mean, there would downgrades in Robertson and Trent, there's no doubt about that. Frimpong and Kerkez haven't hit the ground running. I've got to say, the young lad, the centre-back, looks very, very encouraging.
He was very composed, wasn't he?
But I'm with Jeff. I think full-backs and that kind of area in midfield would be a concern, mate.
Look, obviously they've been interested for a long while. Made no secret of their interest in Bradley Barker. What impact could he have on Liverpool? And is he worth the money? European football expert Andy Brassel had his say on Trans-Euro Express.
If you're looking at £145 million, for example, and this is just a ballpark figure for the moment, it does seem like a lot of money. But I think I'd be more comfortable paying 145 for Barker than I would 117 for Morgan Rogers. And I say that as someone who's a huge Morgan Rogers fan. I think he'll do great for Chelsea. He's proved himself already for Aston Villa, for England, of course, and Premier League proven. But I don't think Rodgers is ever going to get to the point where he scores 20 goals in the season. Barker could do that.
Crookie, do we know how Cody Gakpo feels about being the mate weight, effectively, in a deal to bring Barker to Anfield while he goes to Tottenham? Is he keen on a move to Tottenham?
Well, I think one of the reasons this deal is still alive is because, Cody Gakpo, I think, has made it pretty clear for the last few weeks that he would be open to a move to Spurs. He knows if Barker comes in, he won't necessarily be a guaranteed starter at Liverpool. You would imagine he would be at Tottenham. Be interested to see how him and Savinho both fit into the same attack. Bearing in mind, you've got Mohamed Kudus to come back from injury at some point as well. Just on the fee for Barker, they were asking at one stage PSG for 145 million. Then it came down to 125 million, which would have matched what Liverpool paid that Premier League record fee for Isak last summer. They were never keen on either of those numbers. I think if this deal does happen, it will be nearer the 117 million that Andy was talking about there that Chelsea paid for Morgan Rogers.
Just a quick one, Crookie. What do you know about the Fernandes situation at Chelsea?
Well, I thought the comments from Xabi Alonso after the game were interesting. Certainly hasn't ruled out a sale. Manchester City are doing lots of business in terms of outgoings. We talked about this yesterday, didn't we? That Pep Guardiola reset last summer hasn't really worked out when you look at the fact they're cashing in on most of those players, barring probably Ryan Cherky, who came through the door at the Etihad. I think once they've concluded those sales, a bid for Fernandes is inevitable for me. I've been saying that for a few weeks now. And I think there's a willingness on behalf of Enzo Fernandez to make that move and reunite with Enzo Maresca at Manchester City. They need him, don't they, when you think they moved up Mark Gay into midfield at the weekend. I know they've got Buadi coming in, but he is obviously still at the start of his career. So, again, I think this is one that we're going to be talking about maybe right up until 11 o'clock on transfer deadline day. I think it's going to be a really busy final week. You know, Manchester United, as we talked about yesterday, need to do business. They've been offered Jean-Philippe Mateta. I know Aston Villa showing interest in him as well. Would United fans take that? Is he an upgrade on Joshua Zirkzee? I'd probably suggest he is.
Does that mean that Palace are willing to let Mateta go? It seems like he's trying to force him.
Yeah.
Well, it's a messy situation, isn't it, that he's gone to...
Is it still at court, like, Craig? Excuse me interrupting you there. Is it still at the court? It's the contract situation, isn't it?
Yeah, I think both cases, as far as I'm told, have been ruled in Crystal Palace's favour. He's gone to a couple of tribunals trying to claim that the last year of his contract is invalid. I don't think he's going to win that one, but he's certainly not making any friends, is he, in the boardroom or with those Crystal Palace fans who actually took him back to their hearts in the second half of last season after he tried to force through that move to Milan. So clearly he wants to leave. I don't think he's a top Premier League striker. I think he probably misses too many chances, but you saw United at the weekend. They were toothless in attack, and if Šeško isn't fit, they've not really got another out-and-out number 9. So it's a move that would make sense to me. It doesn't seem to be a priority position, but maybe if that offer has been made by intermediaries close to Mateta, United might consider it.
Yeah. Crookie, thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. All the best.
Cheers, boys.
So Tottenham still pushing to sign Cody Gakpo. talkSPORT understands Liverpool's stance has been that they're reluctant to sell Gakpo, but this would help fund their quest to sign PSG's Bradley Barcola. Was I mistaken? Didn't Jeff Bezos take a share in Liverpool? Hasn't he got a few quid?
Oh, he's got a few quid.
Yeah, so why are they being forced to sell? You know, Gakpo, who for me was their best player, and certainly one of their best 2 players at the weekend. Why are they being forced to sell him?
I don't know, forced to sell or not, or maybe, I don't know. I'm with you. I find it strange that Gakpo would all of a sudden really desire a move to Tottenham rather than stay at Liverpool.
Yeah.
And it also tells me that the City thing's probably a non-starter, because with greatest respect to Tottenham, you're going to Manchester City before you're going to Tottenham, aren't you, if you're Gakpo?
Yeah. And as far as Barcola goes, whatever the price is, it's going to be obviously a big price tag. You're not the biggest fan, are you?
Of Gakpo?
Of Barcola?
No. Well, let me quantify that. I'd rather have Dewey, I'd rather have Dembele, and I'd certainly rather have Kvaratskhelia, right? Yeah. He's an excellent player, Barcola. I really, really do. But and they just signed the other lad from young lad they played in Super Cup. It's Okimeni from Monaco or something like that. So they've obviously signed him with a view to letting one of them go. I think he's a terrific player. I think he'd do well with Liverpool, but out of that front line at PSG, he's the one I'm letting go.
Yeah. Okay. Gaz has given us some breaking news from the Robot Olympics. He said 100-metre athlete sent home from the Robot Olympics. He tested positive for WD-40. And
that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I like it.
Simon in Hull says a robot athlete has just been explaining his underperformance. He said he was a bit rusty. Oh dear me. Liverpool and Spurs fans, 03717 223334 is the number to call to have your say on the situation. Spurs fans, does Gakpo excited Liverpool? Are you happy to let him leave?
I'd love to know what the Liverpool fans think of the situation.
I would too, you know. I think Gakpo certainly in recent years, last couple of seasons, has had a bit of stick from some Liverpool fans, but he can still deliver on his day.
Sure.
Yeah. But Liverpool fans, look, we're outsiders looking in. Let us know what you think. Coming up, we turn our attention to the League Cup tonight and continue to react to Cole Palmer's brilliant performance in their win over Fulham last night.
we're due to talk about Spurs now. O'Hara was meant to be here, Jason Cundy, but apparently he's bottled his chance to plug your show. What? If you're not watching but listening, you've put on a Jamie O'Hara mask. Is that a new thing? I mean, that's quite horrific.
I don't know what it looks like. How does it look?
What do you think it looks like?
No, I can't see myself. Does it look like O'Hara?
Have a look at the monitor.
Every time I do that, I turn away.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it looks ghastly, and I never use that word. Yeah. Have you put it on before?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I've worn it before.
It's
so
vile.
weird. It's so weird.
Yeah. So do you want to pretend he's here?
I can pretend he's here.
Okay,
yeah.
let's
Shambles! Shambles!
Good team. Why is he not here? I heard he stormed out the studio again yesterday.
Last night, honestly.
Soon it's going to be more of a shock if he stays.
I talk about Spurs.
Take the mask off, for God's sake. Yeah.
Honestly, when we talk...
Oh, put it back, put it back.
Put it on. I love getting into him about Spurs. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. And he was saying if they buy Savinho and Mamouche, they're guaranteed top four, top two. And I'm like, come on, mate, come on. The Ange mask will come out, and it just grew legs and arms. The thing, and it just exploded.
You got many more masks?
No, yeah, I've got Benty mask.
Have you?
No, you don't. No.
Don't wear him in a bank.
Do you know what happened though? Here's what happened with the Ange mask. We bought it last season when he took over at Forest, and we ordered it from I think South America. By the time the mask turned up, he'd been sacked.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. Thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for two to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. We're talking about Tottenham. James from Broxbourne says another Spurs signing. This is Gakpo, which wouldn't change anything. I reckon we could do one of those robots as a scout for Tottenham because we seem to buy every other team's players that they don't want and will make no difference to the squad at all. Spurs need to be careful. All these £50 to £100 million signings. Look at the lad at the weekend for Brentford. £39 million. Instant impact. Can't remember the last time Spurs signed someone who made an instant impact. Mamadou Sangare is the man you're talking about, James. Just on the Robot Olympics, I'm not sure I can get away with this, but I'm going to try anyway. This is Morning, Jeff and Ali. The winner of the Robot 100 metres ran their nuts off.
And they beat Usain Bolt in the final.
Oh, stop it. Right, very nearly 20 minutes past 8 o'clock. Let's get the latest odds with Coral and Dave Stevens.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Steve-O, good morning to you.
Morning, Steve-O.
Gentlemen, a very good. I think we might have just reached rock bottom with those Robot Olympic jokes. With that And your effort at the end there with Usain Bolt didn't help matters, Alex.
I think to be fair though, Steve, we can't take it lower, you know.
Well, I don't doubt that for 1 minute. I did think the Rusty one was quite
very
funny
good.
Earlier,
yeah, that was brilliant.
Funny enough, we carried out a survey earlier in the year of fans about a whole variety of things. One of the things we asked them was, would they rather see robo refs? than the current, the men in black in the middle. 40% of those we surveyed said yes, they would. So, look, we can joke about it, but it's probably not that far away, actually, that we're all going to be replaced.
Well, I don't know about that, Steve-O. What price would you give me about robo-refs ever refereeing a Premier League game?
Well, actually, it wouldn't be a crazy price, Jeff. I mean, look, it may not happen in our lifetime, but we'll see how much longer But yeah, look, anything in this modern world, I wouldn't rule it out at the moment. But Jeff, you don't want to talk about Portsmouth. We're only a point off the playoffs. You gave me a bit of stick after the QPR defeat last week.
He's bounced back. A great result it was.
It was, and great goals as well that you scored. And this was at Lincoln, and Lincoln don't lose at home. I know they're in a higher division. It was a brilliant bounce back, no question about that at all, Steve-O.
Steve-O, just a quick one. Are we going to see Constitution Hill at Windsor at the weekend?
Ali, I think it's been a brilliant flat season, but the biggest talking point of all could still be this Constitution Hill, the ex-champion hurdler. We haven't seen him since March. He's had 2 starts on the flat, and he's going to run, all being well. They need a bit of rain. Yeah. But if Windsor gets the rain, he's going to line up in the listed August stakes there. He's 3-1 favourite against some really good flat performers, which tells you, the impact he's made. He's been, as I say, the talking horse of the flat season. And just another bit of housekeeping, really, that William Haggis cleared up yesterday. Maltese Cross, who, Jeff, I don't know if you saw, won the Great Voltage at York last week, was really impressive. Beat the Derby winner. Yep. He'd finished second in the Derby to Christmas Day, then beat him at York last week. He's not going to go for St Ledger. They're going to roll the big dice and go for the Arc, and I don't blame them. He's already won the Grand Prix de Paris over at Longchamp, over 1.5 miles, Maltese Cross. So William Haggis, 6-1 second favourite now for the Arc. So some, more exciting times coming up. And to say what I think's been a brilliant flat season.
And William Haggis, by the way, he knows the time of day, to say the least. So if he's going for the Arc, he must think that Maltese Cross has a first-rate chance. Chelsea beating Fulham last night. Has that affected their title odds at all, Steve-O?
It has. I was slightly surprised, to be honest, that we've gone 6-1 from 8-1 for the title. I suppose it was a good performance. I mean, attacking-wise, they look great. Defensively, I think it's fair to say they've got a few issues, Ali, that over the course of a season, I'm not sure they're title contenders. Look, the betting says they are, so I just think Arsenal set such a standard. Now odds on Arsenal 5-6. More realistic for Chelsea, top 4, 2-1 on, so only Manchester City and Arsenal shorter than them. I suppose it's that time of the season, though, Jeff, where the transfer window's still open, what business is going to be done. It's still, we don't yet know the final makeup. Just as an aside, I can't understand why Liverpool want to get rid of Cody Gakpo. No. I think he's, along with Szoboszlai, I think he's been their best player in the last couple of seasons. But anyway, listen, that's not my business to worry about.
And at the other end of the table, a lot of people fear for Fulham a bit.
Yeah, again, it's always guilty of overreacting. So, I mean, they are 7-2 for relegation. Only 4 teams shorter than them. Hull and Ipswich, of course, both got off to winning start. So, look, long way to go. I think, I don't know what you think. I thought we saw enough from Fulham last night that over the course of 38 games, I think they should have enough under Arbeloa.
Steve, well, here's one for you. Celtic tonight in Europe. I watched the home leg.
You enjoyed it then?
From behind the couch. I thought they scored, I need to tell you, mate, I thought they scored 3 superb goals. I like the look of their new boys. However, that other team certainly created a couple of chances. He did 2 goals disallowed correctly for offside. How's the betting look? I fancy Celtic to go through, but how's the betting looking for the 90 minutes?
You'll be pleased to know, Ali, that are they LASK or LASK? I'm never quite sure. But the Austrian champions are odds on to win this, 10-11. But Celtic, with that 3-goal cushion, Celtic 5-2 to win. The draw just under 3-1. They should have enough. But the fact that you've said that those goals were correctly, I can see that hurt you, Ali, didn't it, to say that? But
actually, I need to tell you the truth. I mean, I did compliment Celtic in their finishing, but the best finisher a lot was the first goal, which was, as I said, correctly disallowed for offside. What a finish it was!
Yeah, he's clutching at straws.
I know, but what else can he do, Jeff? What else can he do? Like, some brilliant Carabao Cup games tonight. I thought just pick out a couple. Yep. Ipswich, as I say, got off to that winning start. Ipswich, Leicester, of course, both championship sides last year. That's all changed. 8-15 Ipswich, just under 5-1 Leicester. Southampton, West Ham. I mean, if things had gone differently, both of these clubs could be in the Premier League. But 6-4 Southampton, 8-5 West Ham. That's another really close one. Birmingham face a Brentford side.
That's a good game as well.
Yeah. If you're Brentford, Ali, 5-6 to win it, 3-1 Birmingham, do you surely want to try and have a cup run in
100%.
You do, but if you looked at the Ipswich price, I mean, that raised my eyebrows immediately. 8-15. I know Leicester have had a rotten start, but if I'm Gary O'Neill, I'm not playing any first-team players in this tonight at all, because with all due respect, they're not going to win the Carabao Cup.
Not Brentford, mate.
Yeah, Brentford might. Different ball game completely. Yeah. Ipswich, it's about survival. Yeah, and
I think that
different priority.
Yeah, I think the factor with the Ipswich is Leicester, though. I think we also see them as, promotion back to the Championship is potentially their priority. But as always, wait for the team news. Yeah. Look, the big one, and how often does it happen? A team plays each other,
twice,
obviously, as Forest and Leeds did in the league, and then they're back out. 11-10 Nottingham Forest, 23-10 Leeds, 12-5. The draw feels like, I know Leeds won, but it wasn't an awful lot between them.
Yeah.
Again, team selection, but it feels like the draw's a big runner in that. But some good games tonight where, as I say, team selection.
You know the drill, Steve-O. Do not stick anything on at all until 6:30, 6:45. Have a look at the sides, mate.
You never actually gave us a prediction in the Celtic game, Ali. I just want to bring you back to that.
It'll be a home win, but Celtic will go through. There you are. How's that grab you?
Bittersweet for you then.
No, just bitter, Steve-O. Steve-O, thank you very much.
See you, mate.
Cheers, fellas.
And that was a look at the latest odds with Coral 18 plus gambleaware.org.
The Coral Daily Download on talkSPORT with Coral. We're here for the fans this season. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Steve-O mentioned Cody Gakpo.
Yeah.
John, the Liverpool fan, says Gakpo's a one-trick pony. He drops his shoulder, cuts in on his right and shoots every time he gets within 25 yards of goal, and teams have worked him out. Well, Newcastle didn't, did they?
I know, but I do take that. I would love to see him go outside a lot more. You know, he's very successful and he's good at doing that, but I wouldn't mind them seeing him outside.
John says scoring goal of the weekend doesn't make him one of the best two players on the pitch. I just thought he was. I thought his overall game was. And mind you, that might have been, to a degree, a reflection on the fact that Liverpool were pretty poor, generally speaking. We've been discussing the Ollie Watkins situation most of the morning. Let's hear from a Villa fan. It's Ben. Good morning to you, Ben.
Good morning, Ben.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. How are you?
Very well, mate. Very well. What do you think of the situation with Ollie Watkins?
Well, I wanted to talk about that and the wider situation just at Villa at the moment. I think anybody who watched the game on Sunday will agree that we had an absolute stinker. I think there's a lot of obviously media furore around it at the moment. I think it's just important to, from a Villa fan's point of view, it's quite different probably to how it's being perceived in the media. Like we've just won the Europa League, and some of these players that we've been selling are at the peak of their value. And some of them are 28, 29. So if we were ever going to sell some of these players, now is the time we were going to sell them. Like, we are unfortunately restrained and we have to cash in and maximise some of these players' values. When you look at the TV power of the weekend, like, we've signed Wan-Bissaka, we've signed Ruggieri, we've signed Gomez, we've signed Manzambi, we've signed Garnacho, we've signed Goretzka, we've signed all of these players, and only Gomez, who completely lost his head, was actually starting at the weekend. We're then looking at Ordonez from Bruges, who I think we're going to go over the line, Nicholas Jackson, possibly Rafael Leao as well. So I think the Villa team's going to look very different in 2 weeks' time to what it looks now. Like, was that an acceptable performance? No. The Ollie Watkins situation, obviously, I think was a big distraction for the team. We ended up having Ross Barkley up front. The whole thing was chaotic. I think in a couple of weeks' time, things are going to look like very different. People will say, oh, those signings, they're not the same kind of players, but 3 or 4 years ago, were Tielemans, Rodgers, Konsa and Watkins on people's radars? No. And then finally, like the last two seasons, last season we didn't score a goal for the first 5 games. The season before that, we lost 5-1 to Newcastle, first game of the season. So I think don't panic. And Emery's not leaving. I think everyone just needs to remember that.
OK, Ben, thank you very much indeed.
Call,
nice
Ben.
to hear an optimistic view.
Yeah, that was optimistic, yeah.
Dan, the Chelsea fan, says, morning, Jeff and Ali. Back in July, I texted in about your claim, this is me, I think, that Chelsea had a chance, just a chance at top 4. Your words, not mine, Jeff. Just wondering if you want to backtrack on that. Well, you know what? When I did my 1 to 20, Dan, just a couple of weeks ago, Chelsea second. So, look, things change, don't they?
Of course they do.
In July, they hadn't signed all the players that they've signed now. So things change and will change between now and the close of the transfer window.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. You should be allowed. I'm all for you have your top 20. Do it when we do it at the start of the season, but you should be able to reassess after the window is closed.
Yeah, you see, I had Fulham down to be relegated, but I watched them last night, and now I probably wouldn't, so not after that performance, even though they're lost. Up next, more on the news that Cody Gakpo could still be on his way to Spurs, despite his goal at the weekend, and we'll also focus on the future of another Liverpool player in Harvey Elliott.
Michael, where are you with Isak at this moment? I just think that particular penalty, Szoboszlai was always taking it, and likes of Isak had far more to lose than he had to gain by taking that penalty. But where are you with Isak at this moment in time? And he looks to me, he obviously had big injury problems and all that stuff. The move was well documented. Newcastle fans are unhappy. What's it going to take for him to get playing with a regular confidence and show the ability that we know he has?
Well, I'm not sure about you, Ali, but I had plenty of injuries in my career, so I know how hard it is to get back, and you do need a bit of time. And everybody's given him time and understood that, but then he's sort of finished the season, then he's gone to the World Cup, and now he's had a pre-season, and you just think, okay, now we're starting to run out of excuses. We need to start seeing the real Isak, and we know how good he is. I mean, wow, we saw him for Newcastle. I mean, he's absolute class. But we haven't seen it for Liverpool just yet, and I think questions will come now. As I say, always give him the benefit of the doubt in the past with Liverpool, but at the start of this season now we're expecting, and Liverpool absolutely need him. They've lost Salah, Ekitike's out, there's not that many options in attacking areas. They absolutely need him to be on top form. Yesterday he was far from it. I thought he was a yard off, and that's worrying. But so was Wirtz. I thought he was really quiet as well. So, it wasn't the greatest performance for
Boxing. It's a sport that makes multi-millionaires out of the world's best fighters, but it's not as flush with cash as you'd think. We all see how much the likes of Tyson Fury or Canelo Alvarez make every fight, but that's not the case for those just starting out, or those who aren't even at that level. For example, if you've just turned pro and don't have a promoter, you have to sell your own tickets, cover the cost of the venue yourself, and pay the taxman at the end of it. You might not even break even, but if you do, you're looking at 5 to 10 grand max. A mid-tier fighter might make more like 10 to 50 grand, but you still have to give up half of that in costs. So unless you're fighting for a world title, it's tough to make money. One potential way of doing it, though, is being a journeyman. Here's former European champion talkSPORT's Spencer Oliver explaining how that could work.
They want to fight every week, and they can be going in against the prospects, so they can demand good money, and they might be demanding like 5 grand, 10 grand for a 6-rounder or something, because they're going in with a prospect. He gets through that, the journeyman gets through that fight, and he can fight again next week.
I mean, even so, it's not much, and you're getting punched in the face for a job. It's only really at the top level, i.e. fighting for titles, where you're earning up to 6 figures and can afford a diamond chain or that Ferrari. So boxing isn't a sport that allows you to retire at 40 and live a life of luxury. Much like a lot of other sports and jobs in general, it takes an awful lot of luck quite early in your career to really make it worth your while.
This is talkSPORT Breakfast with the Breakfast Cabin crew, me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. And could you see yourself doing that, Coisty?
No.
Cabin crew?
No, I've not got the patience for it. Yeah, I mean, these girls and guys are brilliant. I mean, generally speaking, they're great. They must have patience for a saint. You know, having to deal with people like you and I, for example.
You can fly out to all these exotic spots, though.
Oh, yeah, I like that side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like, but you only you got to stay over if it's long haul, don't you?
Yeah, I suppose
so we'd need to go long haul, you and I.
Yeah, and unfortunately it's EasyJet, they don't do long haul, do they?
Oh.
Yeah.
So they're there and back. Yeah. Whether it's the Algarve or Spain, they're generally speaking there and back, aren't they? I went on, honest to goodness, we went to see Calvin, Bob and I went to see Calvin Harris in Ibiza, and the flight out of Glasgow was 6 o'clock in the morning, and we flew back the following day. I am still scarred by that flight to Ibiza at 6 in the morning, Jeff.
This is another travel story coming on, isn't it?
Oh, my God. Glasgow to Ibiza, 6 o'clock, with all that young team, they're walking up the boogie buses and all that. The music was flat. It was unbelievable. Scared me.
Yeah, well, I think we probably do a little bit more time at talkSPORT before we volunteer our services as a cabin crew. We're with Arnold Clark, of course. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. We're talking about Cody Gakpo a moment or two ago. Rob says we need to keep Gakpo and sell Chiesa. If Gakpo wants to be a starter, he has to put in the hard work to prove that he should start. And another text, Gakpo plays one good game, goes missing for the next 5. Time to cash in and get an upgrade before the window shuts, but I'm not sure that Barkla is worth more than £80 million.
Yeah.
That was the perfect start for Xabi Alonso as Chelsea boss, largely thanks to Cole Palmer.
Fulham against Chelsea, 2 clubs, 1 postcode and 2 mates. Xabi Alonso and Alvaro Arbeloa.
It felt great back to have the energy of the Premier League.
You're doing better and they might be starting well here. João Pedro's been released by Cole Palmer and he's off the mark just after the 30-second mark. Goes on the outside, pulls it through the box. It's got to be Rodgers surely to score a debut goal in front of the Fulham supporters. Palmer on the overlap and he puts it through the legs of the goalkeeper and scores. Brilliant from Cole Palmer, very cheeky little finish.
João Pedro, Cole Palmer and Morgan Rodgers on Chelsea debut, and smiles all around.
It's not just that they have scored, they have worked good for the team, they have inspired the rest of the team.
The Chelsea front line at times was unplayable. Lots of excitement at Chelsea this season. I think they'll have games where they'll really hurt teams, score lots of goals, but as for title contenders, no.
Voice of Danny Murphy there, who was at the game for talkSPORT. He thinks, as you heard there, it was impressive going forward, but far from a complete performance.
Palmer, exquisite. Hope he's okay for him and for the Chelsea fans, of course. But
well, he's wandering around the pitch now and shaking hands a bit. He's smiling as well.
Yeah.
I think he's all right.
Yeah, but I thought the Chelsea front line at times was unplayable. You know, it's going to be really difficult, however good your back line is and whatever quality you've got there, to keep those 3 quiet. Because if one of them's not at it, the other 2 are more than capable of winning games on their own. They really are a brilliant 3, and it's going to be interesting to see how Chelsea evolve in terms of those wing-back areas, because they're going to have a crucial role in feeding those 3. Defensively, there's problems. The keeper's a problem, of course he is. And I'm not convinced by the 3 centre-halves there tonight either. I know they've got other players to come back in, but there's still not, I've said it before and I'll say it again, that one standout centre-half who you think he's the leader.
Well, former Chelsea defender Jason Cundy said before the season started that they would win the league, but he had a big issue with a certain Chelsea player last night.
But I'm not having that the defenders will head the ball. Jump, challenge, head the ball. I think that's probably going to get missed because Sanchez ballsed up on the first goal, right? And everyone will go to Sanchez for the second one. I don't think it's a terrible save he makes for the second goal at all. But Levi Cole is a centre-half. It's your job. Actually, he sees the ball a long way. The ball's travelled a long way. It's a loopy one. Go and challenge. If you can't win it, make sure that... I can't remember who headed it back into the box. Jump, challenge, do something. Nothing.
Well, Dan has texted, he sort of agrees with Cundy. He says, talking about Chelsea's defending, why do all the pundits like Colwill so much? He can't defend 1v1, can't mark, and is all over the place.
No, I think he's a good player. I do. Do you know something? Jason's right. the buck, if you like, normally ends with the goalkeeper, right? And I thought, unlike what Jason said there, the second goal, I think he should do better with the second goal.
Yeah, I do.
I think it comes off him and it's too easy to finish. First goal, he's really, really poor at. But where Jason's 100% right, he's not solely to blame. I mentioned Morgan Rogers letting King run off him. I mean, that's actually unacceptable, letting him run off you and get a shot at goal. And he's right with the centre-back for the second goal. They have got problems defensively. I still think, Jeff, there's a degree of the defenders are not confident with the goalkeeper behind them. You know what it's like. Great defences, there's a relationship where there's a confidence, whether it's a goalkeeper's a confidence in his back two or back three, whatever it may be, and likewise, the man behind them, you know, they've got a lot of belief in. I don't think you've got that at Chelsea, to be brutally honest with you. I mean, I don't think Chelsea are confident of keeping a clean sheet. But it is not solely down to Sanchez. But I do think somebody like Martinez is a massive upgrade to Sanchez.
But I mean, in terms of the outfield players, I mean, it was interesting that Lavia started last night. I've always liked him as a player.
Yeah, I don't mind him
in truth. And Reece James playing in midfield as well. Will that sort of slightly vulnerable defence be given more protection
100%.
when Caicedo's back 100%. And maybe Enzo Fernandez is starting?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. You know, whether he goes with three or goes with back four, I think Caicedo is a big miss. I think he walks into most teams. I really, really do. I think he's a terrific player, and I think he's intelligent, intelligent in the respect that he will give that back four a lot of protection. I mean, Neto still was on the bench, and who else have they got? Esteval. And forward areas, not a problem.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely,
choice,
absolutely not a problem. And I do think they've got talented outfield players defensively. But collectively they're not defending as well as they should. But I still think the goalkeeper is a problem.
Yeah. Chelsea fans, they've got to be pleased. I mean, Xabi Alonso, he clearly wants them to play on the front foot. So they are, one would imagine, going to be a joy to watch during the course of this season. And by the way, the same can probably say of Fulham as well, because they're a really young starting lineup there. You know, it was a fantastic game, an absolutely fantastic game. I saw Alvaro Arbeloa's pre-match interview on Sky, and he's going to make a lot of friends.
He's likeable, isn't he?
Very, very.
Well, they both are. So's Alonso.
They both are. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely right. Josh says, "Morning, lads. This is interesting." He said it might sound wild, but Chelsea should go and get Jordan Pickford. He would command the back line and can play with his feet, which Alonso likes. Not sure any Evertonians are going to be in favour of that, though, Josh, but thanks for the suggestion.
Particularly the weekend. Yeah. Again, Pickford excellent at the weekend.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and we'll save when, I think it was 0-0 at the time, save where he pushed the ball on the post. Oh, game-changing save, in truth, isn't it? Yeah. For more reaction, by the way, on that win for Chelsea last night with Danny Murphy and Adrian Durham, check out the talkSPORT Daily podcast, available on all your podcast platforms now. Still to come on breakfast.
Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Spend £100 or more with a Travis Perkins trade account and you could win a brand new Ford Ranger. T's and C's apply.
Liverpool fans who learned this morning you still look like you're going to offload Cody Gakpo to free up funds to go and sign Bradley Barcola. Are you a fan of that move? Can you afford to lose Gakpo? Are other areas your priorities? 03717 223344 is the number to ring. And stick with us. Very shortly, we're joined in the studio by a man who was part of an Arsenal team that ended a long trophy drought when they did this back in 2014.
And the wait is over. Finally, Arsenal win a trophy. They win the FA Cup. They have some silverware in the cabinet at last.
We'll be chatting to Carl Jenkinson after 9, who played alongside Arteta and also under Unai Emery. Dan suggests this. Morning, Jeff and Ali. If Villa want Jackson and Chelsea want Martinez, surely go and get it done. Interesting point, Dan. That was our breakfast preview with Travis Perkins.
Breakfast preview on talkSPORT with Travis Perkins. Spend £100 or more at any Travis Perkins Hire or Benchmarks branch as a trade account holder, and you could win a brand new Ford Ranger. T's and C's apply.
He's got to start performing, but he's been injured. So we've got no reference point. We've got nothing to really say about what he did at Liverpool because he had no real run in the team. And if Liverpool aren't going to play in a way that suits the player that they've bought, which is get the ball to him, then I'm not entirely sure what you're supposed to do. What's he supposed to do? Put the ball up on the edge of his 18-yard box and run the length of the pitch, and someone's going to be happy with that? He's not Heung-min Son, is he? He's a centre forward. And so with due respect to it, I look at it and say, yeah, is he? The question for me is, big players would have embraced that opportunity yesterday and gone back to Newcastle and wanted to prove a point. So is he a big game player? Is he a big club player?
I think we saw that. No, we saw that at Newcastle.
Should he not have demanded the ball
What big games has he been at Newcastle?
Well, okay, I take you back to the semi-final Arsenal League Cup. You can say, look, it's the first thing they've won in 52 years or whatever it was at the time. And Isak was at boiling point. He was ruthless.
When you play for Liverpool, you're expected to win. You're expected to be a top player. When you're at Newcastle, people anticipate and hope and will you to be such. And they expect their club to do it. When you haven't won anything for 70 years, it's a different feeling.
You're now contradicting yourself because you said, look, we need to give him time. We need to be patient. And I'm convinced that he will be a success.
I'm throwing all arguments into the equation. I'm throwing all parts of it because it's multifaceted. It's not one or the other. It's not a case of judging on one performance, but also if you're a big player, a really top.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. Thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for two to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Morning, 8:48, Tuesday, August the 25th. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. Bill in Fulham says a word for Josh King. He gets better every game. Some talent, some career ahead.
No argument there.
Completely agree,
No
Coisty.
argument there.
Harry says, morning, hearing you guys talk about goalkeepers at Chelsea. Aaron Ramsdale, currently third choice at Southampton, and playing in the under-21s, waste of his talent. What the heck's happened there?
What has happened here?
I don't know. I mean, it was obviously headed in the wrong direction on more than one occasion, you know. And it is a waste of his talent, because he obviously is talented. There's
no doubt about that. It seems like yesterday the big debate was Raya or Ramsdale, wasn't it?
It does, yeah, it does. What else do we know this Tuesday morning? Pressure on Gianni Infantino is ramping up after legendary players, including Manapati and Mikel Silvestre, joined together to release a statement saying enough is enough. Petit is on White and Jordan this morning. I can predict what Gianni Infantino thinks about that. He just won't care.
No.
Just won't care.
He won't.
No.
Did you see that? Was it one of the Sky Boys collared him somewhere, wherever he was? And
yeah,
it's an embarrassment, actually, isn't it?
It is. Man City have agreed a £38.5 million deal with Palmeiras for the Brazilian winger Alan. bringing him to the Etihad on a 5-year contract. And talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, joined us a little bit earlier to talk about the news surrounding Liverpool and their search for a new winger.
Interesting, if you're a Liverpool fan listening this morning, obviously opened their account for the season with a comeback 2-2 draw at Newcastle at the weekend. The squad did look a little bit short, though, didn't it? Particularly when you cast your eye over the Liverpool bench. It's no secret that they've been interested all summer in signing Bradley Barcola from PSG, the back-to-back Champions League winner. Optimism in France overnight. This deal will get done between now and the transfer window closing at 11 o'clock next Tuesday. And it could have knock-on effects as well for Cody Gakpo. Again, Tottenham's interest in him is well known. We wondered if they may move on, having agreed a deal with Manchester City for Savinho. But no, I'm told Tottenham still very much at the negotiating table when it comes to Cody Gakpo. So it could be that Liverpool are now willing to cash in on Gakpo in order to facilitate this move for Bradley Barcola.
That's the latest news as far as Gakpo and Barcola are concerned. Texting, he says, worrying thing for me is we're selling Gakpo when he drifted into Wirtz's position for 1 minute and produced a finish that we've yet to see from Florian Wirtz. Right, speaking of transfers, let's have a bit of this.
Destination unknown, known.
Yeah, a week or so to go till the transfer deadline. Our time to discuss the future of a few players who might be on the move. You know, Cossie, I want to start with Harvey Elliott.
I know, it's worrying, mate.
It is, because you had that debacle of a loan at Villa. But he played pre-season for Liverpool, and he was quoted as saying just how much he loves the club, and then he's not in the squad. Not in the squad at Newcastle, when the likes of Lewis Koumas and Jimmy McConnell...
Jeff, we just spoke literally 2 minutes ago about somebody that's slowly getting posted missing. That's Aaron Ramsdale, right? Now, Harvey Elliott is not there yet, right? And nor should he be. But he's got to get playing, mate. He has got to get playing, whether it's away from... I mean, it doesn't look as though it's going to be at Liverpool, let's be honest about it.
No.
Right, it does not look as though it's going to be at
Can't
Liverpool.
put another lost season, can he?
No.
Which is what...
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's a slippery slope. He's got to be very, very careful. I think he has to, whether it's... I don't imagine for a minute it'll be wage demands or anything, but he's going to have to go and play. Now, whether it's Europe, whether it's another top-flight club, I don't know, but clearly the Villa thing, well, it was a disaster. It didn't benefit anybody, really, did it? To be brutally honest with you.
Yeah.
So, and the way it's starting, he's got to have a sit down with the manager and say, look, where am I here? Am I in your plans? Have I got a chance? What do you think? Because I need to get first team football and get playing. He's a lovely footballer.
Yeah. He must have been devastated at the weekend. Look, his contract's up next summer, so this is not going to cost a king's ransom. What are we talking? 15, 20 million pounds? Yeah. Something like that. And I look at, well, I was going to look at the newly promoted sides like Coventry. But would he be out of place at a Newcastle, somewhere like that?
No, I don't think he would. And I've got to say, incidentally, I don't know if I said it yesterday. How impressive was Newcastle? And I think you were too. I was slightly concerned about Newcastle, and of course it's only our first game. But boy, at home, were they up for it? Looked a real deal. A little bit, very unlucky not to get the 3 points. But in answer to your question, no, he wouldn't look out of place in that Newcastle side. And Newcastle are looking for players with the players they've lost.
Yeah.
Obviously, Anthony Gordon would be one that spring to mind. But the most important thing, and it's massively important for Harvey Elliott, Jeff, last season was a write-off. He can't afford another one like that.
Yeah, he's 23, you know, the career is short. Look, I'm sure if he's not going to be involved at Liverpool, I'm sure he'll find another club. He'll bring that club energy. Of
course he will.
That is for sure. I want to talk about Ethan Nwaneri at Arsenal. Now, Arsenal have got a plethora of players, haven't they? Nwaneri's only 19. Went on loan to Marseille in January. It didn't really work. He only made 4 starts for them. But he hasn't started for Arsenal since May 2025.
And he's not going in.
No, he played the last game at Southampton, by the way. It's a meaningless game. Yeah. So what do you do with Ethan Nwaneri? Do you loan him out again?
Well, he's an interesting one. Is he in the same bracket or is he a different bracket from Max Dowman? Right?
He's a little older, obviously.
Yeah, I get that. Difference. Yeah, I get that, but I meant in terms of game time, right? I think Ranieri has got to, I think he's got to leave, to be honest with you. There is no way in this earth that he's breaking into that Arsenal side, right? Dowman is probably, unless some mistake, and Arsenal fans will tell me if I'm, I think they rate him higher. I think Dowman's the one they really see as an absolute future.
So you're saying you would sell Nwaneri? Not loan him, but sell him?
What age did you say he was?
19.
No, I'd maybe contemplate loaning him. But the fact of the matter is he needs to play. Right, he needs to get game time. You're right, he went to Marseille, 4 starts, not good enough. Harvey Elliott's the same. There's absolutely no point in going and loan if you're not going to play.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter who you are or where you are. The whole object of going on loan is to play, get football, get first team football. So if you're going to go to a club and not play, it's absolutely pointless exercise. Ranieri has to play, Jeff. Dowman to Leicester. I don't mind Dowman a little bit like what Pep did with Foden, had him about the training and learning off great players, right? And I get that. That's as valuable as anything, as is playing first team football.
Yeah, I think and I agree. I think with Nwaneri, another loan would be the answer. But I'm not sure how you feel about this, but I feel a loan to a Premier League side would be a must. Not go abroad again. Let's see what you can do at the top level in England.
Yeah, but where would that be? Would that be like a Coventry or an Ipswich or something like that? I mean, it's not going to be top 8 or 9 clubs. It's not in terms of getting his game every week.
Yeah, sure.
Which is the most important thing. But he has to play as high a level as possible. You'd have to find out, why did he not play at Marseille?
Yeah,
you would think the opportunity would have been certainly there to play games, and if you're telling me he's only had 4 starts, that is a concern.
See, I'm thinking, where would he play? Well, it looks like Brighton are going to sell Minted to Liverpool. Possibly, Karim Matoma's not fit at the moment, so possibly a wide player at Brighton, someone like Nwaneri. The manager likes young players.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's a possibility. Then you've got the problem. I don't know how long Matoma's out for, but when Matoma comes back in, he's starting. So is it another pointless exercise because he's not going to play?
Yeah.
You need to weigh up all these things as well. But from his point of view, he's got to get playing. Must get playing. Harvey Elliott must leave. Must get playing first team football. Ranieri it's not as, I don't think he's at the Harvey Elliott stage yet. I mean, but you could argue, we're just saying Harvey Elliott's a lost season at Villa. Ranieri do the same at Marseille. There's probably an element of that. Yes, there is.
Yeah.
But there's no substitute for playing.
Yeah, it's certainly hard to see him starting for Arsenal. It's impossible to see him starting for Arsenal.
That's not happening.
Not happening at the moment. Tony's texting, he said, bite your hand off for Harvey Elliott at Sunderland. He would be a cracking signing. And I think a lot of people, again, Webbo says Harvey Elliott should get himself to Fulham. Had a good loan spell there and good memories. And that's not a bad show either. And, of course, Alvaro Arbeloa presumably has pretty good contacts at Liverpool. You would think so. Ryan says the current financial framework in place in the Premier League, it's borderline naive to think that Dowman will be anything other than transfer fodder for Arsenal. Fantastic talent, but too valuable in terms of pure profit not to be sold. That's interesting.
I know. Sadly, I hear where he's coming from.
Yeah. So, anyway, the future for Harvey Elliott and Ethan Nwaneri, no doubt we'll hear more during the coming days until that transfer window closes. Coming up, we brought you the confirmation that Cody Gakpo to Spurs is still likely to happen in this window. We want to hear your thoughts from both Liverpool and Spurs fans. 03717 223344 on whether this is the right deal for both clubs.
I've got a league table in front of me. Guess who's bottom?
Who's bottom? Who's bottom?
Your mob. You're bottom. Bottom of the table, Jay. Jay, do you know what, mate? I offered you 10th the other day.
Look, mate.
You're going down.
Mate, please, like, come on.
What do you mean? Come on, you're bottom of the table. You're bottom. I mean, you love flirting with the bottom of the table. You've started the season bottom of the table. You could go down, Joe, again.
Well, if we play like that, we'll go down. If we play like that, we will go down. It's as simple as that. Forget top four. Forget European football. Forget all this, guff that we've been talking about with players coming in, a new era at Tottenham. If we play like that, we'll go down. Because you cannot turn up to a football match and play like that. That's embarrassing. They should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed of themselves. How can you go through pre-season and then start like that?
They're going to clap the fans.
You can't start pre-season. You can't go through pre-season, all right, giving it the big un, and then turn up and play against Brentford like that. That is a disgrace, an absolute disgrace. And we get scammed every season by Richarlison, who scores a couple of goals in pre-season. You go, oh.
From the Toffees to the Tractor Boys, the Eagles to the Seagulls, Gunners, Bees, Hammers and Magpies, Premier League teams have got a load of crazy nicknames. Ever wondered where they came from? Let's start with Everton. They're dubbed the Toffees, but why? Well, because when the club was formed, just down the road there were two local toffee shops. Ye Ancient Everton Toffee House and Mother Noblet's Toffee Shop were big fan favourites. Next, they say if you can't beat them, join them, and that's exactly what Ipswich Town did when it came to their nickname. The term Tractor Boys used to be chanted by their opponents as a way of putting the team down for their farming background. But during one game back in the late 90s, Ipswich were 1-0 up and they decided to flip the script. 1-0 to the Tractor Boys, they sang, and a new nickname was born. Let's head to Leicester, famous for more than just a red, orangey cheese and Jamie Vardy. Leicestershire is also the birthplace of fox hunting, hence the Foxes. Next up, turns out apples are not the only fruit that don't fall far from the tree. Bournemouth's nickname, the Cherries, comes from the fact the club's stadium was originally built right next to a bunch of cherry orchards. This next story actually involves two club nicknames. It started with Crystal Palace. They were having an absolute nightmare run back in the early 70s. They'd been relegated after a terrible spell and manager Malcolm Allison decided enough was enough. He wanted a new nickname, something strong, fast and destined for success. Something exactly like an eagle. But there's more to this one. Brighton were in search of a nickname too, and Palace finally gave them what they needed. In a heated match between the two back in 1976, Palace fans began chanting, "Eagles, Eagles." And some clever Brighton fans came up with the perfect reply, "Seagulls, Seagulls." Not all club nicknames have a crazy story though. Take the Gunners. That just comes from the fact a group of munitions workers in the Royal Arsenal factory in Woolwich set up the club in 1886. On the flip side, some nicknames seem simple, but there's a bit more to them, like West Ham. The Hammers is actually nothing to do with the ham part of the name. It comes from the fact the club used to be called Thames Ironworks FC and was made up of workmen and shipbuilders. So next time the away end's chanting their crazy nickname, you'll now know exactly where it came from.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist, and Arnold Clark's Deal Drop. Get the new car feeling without the new car price. Discover some of their biggest savings and find your next car today. We've been talking about Harvey Elliott. Gup has messaged me, says, Harvey Elliott has never been on loan at Fulham. He left at 16 under a cloud and he would not be welcome back. You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
A bit harsh, isn't it? 16, you know.
Somebody with a long memory there.
Yeah. So lots on the way for you this morning. We'll be joined in the studio a bit later on by the 2014 FA Cup winner with Arsenal, Carl Jenkinson. He spent 8 years at the Emirates, a lot of time at West Ham as well. He played with Mikel Arteta under Unai Emery. We'll also hear from Andy Townsend. He joins the show to tell us whether Enzo Fernandez has a future at Chelsea. But now, with Savinho seemingly coming through the door, maybe Marmoush as well, do Spurs really need any more forwards?
Gakpo has won it back from Lamptey. Will he do better this time? He's inside the area. Yes, he will. Firing it in past Jason Steele.
Here comes City on the charge again towards the edge of the box. Here's Marmoush, first time shot. Brilliant goal. Omar Marmoush. Palace half of the field. He feeds it into Savinho. Slips it into the far corner. It's a delicious assist from Cherki and a lovely finish from Savinho.
We'll have a stronger squad than Liverpool and Aston Villa. And Man United. If we sign Savinho and Marmoush, we've got a stronger squad than them three teams.
Debatable.
Very.
Well, most of the stuff that Jamie said's pretty debatable, isn't it? You know. But look, seemingly Spurs on the brink of signing Savinho and Omar Marmoush. It looks like they're still in the game in terms of the pursuit of Cody Gakpo.
Yep.
Who looks likely to join Spurs if and when Bradley Barcola is set to sign for Liverpool. Now, the front three on Saturday consist of Mikey Moore, Richarlison, and Matthias Tell.
Yeah.
And I think there's no doubt, Coisty, they need an upgrade on that.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. There's so many questions about Tottenham. I'm looking at the players they had out: Siemens, Kulusevski, Van de Ven, Kudus, Sarr, Porro, Odegaard. Now, there's certainly 3 or 4 of them that would start, right? I think we're maybe in agreement then. There's 3 or 4 of them that would start. The one I'm interested in was the one we spoke about, you and I there off air, Kulusevski. He's one I really enjoy watching, and I like a lot, Jeff.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to be worried that he's been out
for a long
time, and that would be a concern. So he comes, if he's fit, he comes into your team. I think Maddison should play. I'm a fan of Maddison. I think he's somebody once wrote in earlier this morning. I think he's probably the most creative player. Solanke and Richarlison, it's a flip of the coin, really. But they need better players in those areas. I'm not sure Savinho is a massive upgrade on what they've got. I really don't. Is he a good player? Yes. Is he any better than Kulusevski? I'm not sure. Is he better than Kudos? Maybe they'll tell me he is. I'm not sure he is. Marmoush is a centre forward. Yes. I understand that. I still don't think he was on fire at City, to be honest with you. He's leaving City for a reason.
Yeah,
right? He's leaving City for a reason.
But not many people will get game time, you know, with Erling Haaland there. So I think that there are a lot of doubts about Kulusevski, who I like a lot. He's been out injured for a long time now. So the question is, will he make it back? And if so, will he be the same player?
That's correct.
And obviously Kudus, you know, he's been out for a great deal less time. I know when Savinho first came on the scene at Manchester City, he looked like a game changer, but it just hasn't worked out.
No, it's not worked out, and he's not as creative or as lively or as dangerous as Doku. And when he signed initially at the start, do you know who I wanted him to be like? Mahrez, right? Because for me, Mahrez was just a different level. Absolutely fabulous. And that coming off that right hand side. And he looked to have that kind of thing about him, but clearly miles short of Mahrez. And he hasn't improved or made the improvement that City fans would have liked to have seen. So I understand them offloading him as well, but I'm just not sure is a massive upgrade in what they've got at Tottenham at this moment in time, Jeff.
Yeah, in some respects, that doesn't. When you look at the players they're signing, doesn't seem much rhyme and reason about it, does it? It's almost like let's just grab who's available.
Yeah, I know.
And players who
I agree.
Players who've not succeeded at other clubs in a lot of cases.
And I'm looking at it. I mean, Porro, outstanding.
Yeah.
World Cup.
Great work.
So if you've got him, Van de Ven, I mean, Robbo, you've got the makings of a reasonable back four.
And looking forward, you've got James Maddison who will come back. I mean, I'm not sure whether De Zerbi left him out because he knew that Brentford were going to provide a really physical challenge at the weekend.
Maddison has to start. James Maddison, I think, in terms of creation in your team, you know, and put guys in alongside him and maybe protect the back a little bit, let Maddison go and play. But they just seem, Spurs were concerned for me because they're signing players that kind of much of a muchness, if you know what I mean. They've not made a signing. They haven't made a signing for a long, long time where you went, wow, there's a signing for you. They've not done that.
Matt, who's a Spurs fan, says Cody Gakpo would be welcome at Spurs, but it doesn't matter how good he is. The moment he gets to us, he plays like he's wearing platform wellies. It's who we are. What about the Liverpool fans? What do they make of the prospect of selling Gakpo? Let's hear from one. Wayne is a Liverpool fan. Morning, Wayne.
Good morning, Wayne.
Morning, Ali. Morning, Jeff. How are we?
We're in good form, mate. We're in good form. What are you thinking about the situation at Liverpool and look as though they're prepared to sell Gakpo? I mean, I don't know what you think yourself, but Jeff and I don't see the Man City thing at all. And why would he want to go to Tottenham?
Well, Ali, the one thing I can think of is that when it comes to Cody Gakpo, it's been the fact that he was bought in before as a kind of bit-ball player. Luis Diaz kind of kicked him out the team a couple of seasons ago, and he was bought in to kind of, fill in maybe the middle. Luis Diaz out the left, and he was coming as the striker when we were kind of struggling for an up front with Nunes. So I'm not faulting Cody Gakpo's style of play and how he plays. He's a great player, but to put the analogy that you said before with Dewey, Dembele and Kashvili, if you had Cody Gakpo and Barcola on the bench, who are you bringing on to replace one of these three? And for me, it's Barcola.
Yeah.
So Barcola's a no-brainer, but if I'm being totally honest, it's the two wing-backs we need to look at. It's the right wing-back and the left wing-back. We haven't had anything there since Trent and since Andy's left, and Andy didn't really get a good run at it last season. So there's other places I think that we need to do, but when it comes to Cody and Barcola, I'm going to push for Barcola. And if he goes to London, then fair enough.
Yeah. Wayne, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, mate.
Steve says, Liverpool reported to want Yakuba Minte. Why don't Brighton do a deal for Harvey Elliott, which is interesting as well.
A lot of Liverpool fans, they obviously want to talk about the team, but the position that they're concerned about full-back positions.
Yeah, there was wing-backs, yeah. Well, there's certainly not an upgrade on what went before. There's no chance at all about that. Kind of interesting lines here. I didn't realise this. Adam, thank you. So James Maddison only played 45 minutes in pre-season, which is a bit of a concern, isn't it? To say the least.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And Chris says, good morning, Mamouche had one good half season at Stuttgart. The story ends there. He said he's obviously a baller, but at which level? Well, we'll find out wherever he goes next, I think, Chris. That's the answer to that one, because he hasn't really had many opportunities at Manchester City. And when he has, he's just looked okay, hasn't he?
Yeah.
But there we go. Interesting that Wayne talks there. He'd rather have Bradley Barcola to come off the bench than Cody Gakpo. Yeah, but, Bradley Barcola is going to cost you 120, 130 million pounds, which just seems way, way, way above the odds, doesn't it? Coming up, we'll turn our attention to the Arsenal and what they can achieve this season with the man who won the FA Cup with them, Carl Jenkinson. That's next.
Yeah, fair play to Hull. I think Sergei Yakirovic is going to prove to be a very tactically astute manager. He's got Dean Holden as his assistant, obviously a boyhood United fan, but he was absolutely buzzing with that win over his club, and they deserved it, Hull. I thought they were brilliantly organised. I've pretty much been the only pundit on talkSPORT saying I think they've got a chance of staying up, and maybe people will come round to that way of thinking now. But the lack of energy, effort and endeavour from those Manchester United players is unforgivable. The bare minimum away from home against a newly promoted team on the opening day of the season, you have to match their levels of commitment. And these United players did not do that. And is it a surprise? You look at people like Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, these players have been part of the problem for too long, haven't they?
So is Carlos Baleba the answer to your problems then? And is it going to happen, Crookie?
It's going to happen. I'm told it could even be announced as early as today. Whether he's the answer or not, I don't know, because you look at United defensively, so poor, the 2 goals they conceded. I've mentioned Shaw already. They definitely need an upgrade in the left-back department. It seems to be every summer they target one area of the team, the United hierarchy. Last summer it was the forward line, obviously bringing Cunha and Mbumo and Šeško. This time it's 3 midfielders. Tillerman's miles off the pace for me at Hull, and Santos didn't cover himself in glory, but hopefully from United's perspective they'll improve. They've got to work on that defence. You know, I don't trust any of the central defenders, to be honest. I know they've got Martinez and De Ligt to come back, but can they stay fit? History tells us probably not.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for 2 to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Good morning, this is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling and Ally McCoist. I'm delighted to say we're joined right here in the studio now by this man.
Crystal Palace 0, West Ham United 1. The goal scored by Carl Jenkinson, the right back.
Is Carl Jenkinson with the goal.
After 3,283 days of unprecedented patience, Arsene Wenger is a major trophy winner again. The FA Cup winners of 2014 are Arsenal.
Yeah, part of the Arsenal side has famously ended the silverware drive in 2014. He joins us now. It's Carl Jenkinson. Morning, Carl.
Morning, Carl. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Yeah, really pleasure to be invited onto your show.
Oh, it's great to have you here. Yeah, you just retired. So what are you up to now? How are you finding it?
Enjoying my weekends. Just a bit of time with my fiance, doing different things. We just went to Brighton at the weekend, which you can never do when you've got a game of footy. So yeah, just keeping busy, doing different stuff. I'm in the gym a lot because I love that side of stuff. Yeah. And a bit of media work here and there. Yeah, just enjoying it, really.
Give you an opportunity to do things probably you never had the chance to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, my partner's happy. We won't be missing all the weddings and family events that we've missed over the years. So, there's a positive to it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you were a boyhood Arsenal fan, weren't you?
Yeah.
So to actually have played for them and won silverware with them, wow, that's the ultimate, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And I always say, I'm grateful to have had that experience because, even if you get to a certain level, the chances of your boyhood club coming in for you is quite slim. It's not. It doesn't happen too often. So I went back for the Coventry game and, I had a moment pitch side and that. It was brilliant. Yeah, a great day for us, like me and my family.
I've got to say to you, mate, I was in Cardiff for the Community Shield, right? And I know a lot of people say that's only a pre-season game. Matt, really impressive. I thought they looked really, really impressive. I think the signings, Solis on the left-hand side, they've strengthened there. I think the job that Arteta has done, particularly last season, penalties away for Champions League, winning the league. I mean, they must be as strong as you've seen them in a long, long time.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I also think the signings that they've made, one of which you've mentioned, are terrific signings. I think Konza was probably needed with what's happened to Saliba when he's back. No one really knows how long he's out for. So obviously a title-winning team last year, and I think they've made 3 signings now, all of which will make the team better. So it looks good, and I think, the Community Shield, I thought we played well, and I also think the Coventry game, especially the first half, was terrific.
Oh, yeah, really impressive. Look, obviously, when you're at the Arsenal, I mean, Mikel Arteta was a player then. Actually, I think Jack Wilshere and Aaron Ramsey were as well. Did you think they'd all go on to make managers?
I kind of knew Mikel would, just because of the way he could hold a room with his voice and the sort of confidence and charisma he would deliver his messages with, even as a player.
Well, was that what he was like? Was he a leader?
Yeah, and I always say that. I think that's the biggest skill in it, because I think as a manager, you can get coaches in who can be great tactically and stuff like that. The staff is so big these days, but if you can get a room to listen to your point and your message and what you're trying to get over to a group, which he could do, he walked into the room, everyone would listen.
Yeah.
So I think that's a skill in itself, and he had that in abundance. So it hasn't surprised me with him. And Jack and Aaron, like, obviously young guys starting off in that world, but they're both strong characters in their own way. And obviously I played with them 2 guys for years, so like naturally just keep an eye on how they're getting on.
Do you fancy that side of it yourself? Win your badges or anything like that?
To be honest, Ali, no, I don't think I do. I think I'd like to be involved in football in some capacity.
It's funny, I'm interrupting you and I apologise, but the reason I'm asking that, because I never fancied it ever at all, but it was Walter Smith, who I was very close to the manager when I was younger. And he was like, you need to do it. And I went, he said, do it. And I did it at a time that I didn't see myself doing it, and then I was delighted I did it.
Really? Yeah. Well, that's good advice, because there's been a few people who have said the same thing for me, and I've kind of resisted it because I'm not sure that that's what I want to do and go back into that football world where you lose your time off again and the chance to do stuff with your family. But I've been told numerous times now, just do it, just so it's in your back pocket if you ever want to use it. So yeah. There's plenty of the courses to jump on, so maybe you'll see me on one soon.
Well, do a good one up in Scotland, and you were telling us you've been up there recently. Tell us why.
Yeah, it's one of my good mates who I played with at Arsenal. He's up at Celtic now, at Slade Chamberlain, so I go up there and watch him have a weekend or a bit longer sometimes up there and get on some of the golf courses, which are incredible up there, by the way.
Yeah.
So good.
So you're confident Arsenal will win the title this year?
Confident as I can be, yeah. I mean, I think, like we were speaking about earlier, the squad is it amazes me now these days, not just Arsenal, but how much strength in depth these squads have.
Amazing, eh?
Like, yeah, I was sat next to an ex-player the other day as well, and I was saying, it's so different. You used to have like a top, say a fullback, for example. You have a top-level fullback, and then you might have a younger one, maybe like I had Sagna in front of me, and I was learning my trade. And that was kind of the balance that they would find to like make things work within a squad. Whereas now you have 2, if not 3, like top level players in every single position. The depth is just insane.
Yeah. Well, Jeff and I were literally talking about it before you came in there, Carol. Interesting one, like Nwaneri, who was in Marseille, didn't out on loan, didn't play a lot of football. Somebody like Max Stauman, who's going to be an absolutely terrific player. What do they do in terms? Because let's be honest about it, their game time, particularly this season at Arsenal, has to be limited, if any at all. I mean, they will get game time, I get that, but surely for their natural progression, they have to be out playing and learning. What do they do?
I think, like you said, they will get game time, but it's whether they'll get enough game time for it to be, good enough for their development, really, because if they're just playing in the odd cup game, for the player, it's probably not going to be enough, because them 2, for example, they're real top talents. Yeah. And like, I remember Jack Wilshere going out on loan to like Bolton and stuff, just to go and play every week in the Premier League. And I mean, they're the sorts of players who can play at that top level already. They're just obviously behind other elite level players who are actually in their prime as well. So it makes it more difficult. But I'd be itching to go and play if I was.
You went out on loan though, didn't you? Wasn't West Ham a loan deal initially?
Yeah. So I went to West Ham for 2 years, and that was, some of my best football I played because I just got into a rhythm of playing.
Yeah.
I had that, continuity, and your body gets used to playing every week, and mentally you approach things differently because you're like every week you're having a good game and you're like, well, I've just got to repeat that. I've got to do it again. And it just changes everything. So when you're getting dipped in and out once a month as a young player, it's hard.
What about West Ham? Jeff and I were speaking about it. I mean, I had them, and I still do, having them coming straight back up straight away. But we love the Championship. We talk about the Championship all the time. And if ever was living proof that the Championship is one of the hardest divisions going, it's been West Ham's start to it. Obviously, a draw and a defeat. It's a tough old league, eh?
Yeah. And I think I've got quite a lot of West Ham mates, so like I have quite a good insight into like how they're getting on and whatever else. But I think they've got quite a few sort of still Premier League type players, and it's such a different league, the physicality of the Championship. And I don't know, I look at the striker, Castellanos, I think you pronounce his name. He's played in for Lazio, he's played in Serie A. It's a certain type of sort of laid back and silky
shock to the system.
Football. You go to the Championship, it's super physical. It's a big shock to the system. So yeah, I don't know. Obviously, naturally, having played there and having a lot of mates there, I hope they do come straight back up. And it's a big club. It's a Premier League club, but they actually signed Engels, who I've really liked. I've seen quite a lot of him, and he's sort of all action, box to box, good young player. So I think he'll be a really good addition.
Yeah, I mean that physicality. I think you're talking about. I think Mavropanos got caught out the weekend against Charlton, didn't he? He's just loitering on the ball. You haven't got that sort of time. It's a message from Tom, who's a West Ham fan. He says, wishing Jenko all the best for his retirement. Really enjoyed watching him at West Ham. He was great for us in the 2014-2015 season. Shame he got injured when he came back the following season. And in the end, those blooming injuries, they were the curse for you, weren't they?
Yeah, a little bit. But that's a football career, isn't it?
Yeah.
And yeah, sort of I had that bad one when I was 23. But then you have to reassess, and maybe you're not quite physically the same. I mean, all footballers have injuries, but then just make the most of where you're at then and enjoy playing football to the best of your ability as best you can. So, I never sort of look back, feel sorry for myself, because that's a football career. And also a lot of people have it a lot worse than I ever had it. So, that's is what it is.
It's interesting because at the moment, I think Unai Emery's having a really hard time, isn't he, at Aston Villa? You played under him, didn't you, at Arsenal?
Briefly, yeah.
What was he like?
What word would I use for him? Energetic. He was just 100% every day, even on the training pitch. He would, when he'd be showing like certain phases of play or whatever, and he'll be getting, a lot of managers would get the players to do it. He'll be doing it himself. So I'd be like, I want you to press. But Emery's pressing himself. He's doing about 4 or 5 different presses.
It's funny because I remember talking. It's actually saying that. I remember asking John McGinn the same question, and he gave me the exact same answer you're giving me. He says his energy levels are through the roof.
Yeah. No, I really liked Emery. I thought he was a fantastic coach, and I think his record speaks for itself, doesn't it? I don't know how many Europa Leagues he's won, but it's not easy to do that.
Yeah, you wonder how he'll cope with so many players leaving Villa, though. As a manager, you can only do so much as a manager. You've got to have the right material, haven't you?
Must be the most frustrating thing as a manager, because you probably you build a squad over a period of time, you get your players in and whatever, and then for whatever reason, at some point, ownership or whatever, we're going to get rid of this one or get rid of that one, and all of a sudden, it's all just years of hard work. It's just thrown up in the air. It must be so frustrating.
Yeah. Carl, before I let you go, I've got to remind you of one of the highlights of your career, which turned out to be the low light. Football League debut for Charlton, because you've been in Charlton as a kid. Yeah. Remember where it was? It was at Hartlepool.
It was, yes.
It was at Hartlepool. February 2011. It must have been blooming freezing. And I'm delighted to say we won 2-1. I couldn't let you go without reminding you.
That's the only reason he brought you in here, mate.
That was the one I think where I spoke about. I flew into a tackle straight after I come onto the pitch. And I was lucky to walk away with a yellow. And it was the linesman who sort of said to me in my ear, he said, don't worry, I'll tell the ref it was just a yellow. And I got away with it. And I ended up getting a run in the team after that. Whereas I could have obviously got a red.
It was a long way to get sent off, is it not?
It was, yeah.
Really, I mean, you were a kid at Charlton, weren't you? So, and they play away at Spurs tomorrow night, don't they, in the Carabao Cup? And as an Arsenal man, you'll be rooting for Charlton.
Absolutely.
well, listen, mate, if you're back up north, come and see your pal. We've got a game of golf.
Oh, I'd love that, yeah.
You mentioned
Love
a couple of courses, played Dunbarney, Dundon.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We'll get your local open magic, mate. You love it.
Brilliant.
Love it.
Sounds good to me.
Brilliant.
Hey, Carl, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it, mate.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
2013, 2014 FA Cup winner with Arsenal, Carl Jenkinson, with us there. Thanks, Carl.
Thanks, mate.
Coming up next, we'll ask former Chelsea midfielder Andy Townsend if Enzo Fernandez has a future at Stamford Bridge after Xabi Alonso got off to a winning start against Fulham last night.
Yeah, all right, boys, how you doing?
Yeah, very good. Good to have you on. What do you want to say?
I just want to say this stinky Arsenal chat from you boys this morning is nothing short of comical.
Go on.
Gabby saying that Arsenal should be winning the league with our spending. Well, both of you. You know, recruitment's a big part of it. Look at the likes of City. Well, not City, but likes of Chelsea, United. They've spent loads of money. It's not a given that you're going to win the league. I think we've proven, you know, the culture Arteta's built alongside getting the right recruitment, bringing Berta in. You know, it's impressive.
Yeah.
So you don't think the money that you spent, you should be winning the Premier League?
I don't think it's got anything to do with the money. I think it's got to do with the quality.
You know what?
I think the quality of your squad is so good that you should be winning the league.
It costs a lot of money.
Definitely.
I agree. And that says more about the recruitment than just pure spending. Obviously, pure spending comes into it, but it doesn't mean that it's a given that we're going to win the league. Or I think we will win the league, but it isn't just as simple as saying we should be winning it. Arteta's not that good of a manager because of the spending.
Who said that?
Disagree with that. Well, that's what the sort of the signs I was getting from Gabby before. It was sort of like he should be winning the league.
No, when I'm saying you should win in the league, have you spent wisely? Yes, you have. Have you spent on players that have become fantastic players? Yes, you have. But you can't look at Arsenal's net spend over the last 6 years is nearly 800 million. You can't look at that and say, well, you know, we shouldn't be winning the Premier League.
Amen Corner, perhaps the most feared run of holes in golf. Each year it claims the tournament hopes of many, with balls hitting bunkers and water traps aplenty. But why is it so fearsome, and where did it get its name? Just the thoughts of holes 11, 12 and 13 at Augusta National gives the likes of Rory McIlroy and Jordan Spieth the shivers. McIlroy hit 3 over and Spieth hit 4 over in their final rounds to blow their hopes of a green jacket in 2011 and 2016 respectively. But did you know Amen Corner's name is inspired by a jazz song from 1933? American sports writer Herbert Warren Wint, on the left here, wrote about it in 1958, referencing the song shouted in that Amen Corner when describing the run. Hole 11 is a par 4 over 520 yards with a green guarded by a pond and bunkers to the front edge. 12, perhaps golf's most famous hole, is a par 3 over just 155 yards. The green's guarded by Rays Creek at the front, more bunkers and azalea bushes ready to punish the smallest error. Then there's the 13th that teases the hook shot over the trees. It's a dogleg par 5 over 545 yards that's inviting for big hitters who want to reach the green in 2. If you want to win the Masters, you have to keep your score down around Amen Corner. So who'll be the next to fall victim to golf's most famous and most daunting challenge?
At 9:35, Tuesday, August the 25th. Very good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me, Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist and Arnold Clark. It's the perfect time to upgrade your car. Get 2 years free servicing when you buy a used car in the upgrade event. Check it out online. I don't normally say get well messages out, but Jill's a regular listener and she's not feeling too well at the moment. So, Jill, you say you would love a hello. Well, you've got one. Hope you're feeling better soon, Jill.
Get well soon, Jill.
Absolutely. Now it was the perfect start for Xabi Alonso as Chelsea manager, largely thanks to Cole Palmer.
No friends, no past, just points.
You are playing in a derby London against Chelsea, and after 30 seconds you are losing 1-0.
João Pedro's been released by Cole Palmer, and he's off the mark.
What a finish that is from João Pedro.
What a start for Xabi Alonso.
We can do better.
He strikes it brilliantly into the near post and beats Robert Sanchez.
He'd never be scoring from that angle.
Into Lacroix, who gets into the area, takes on the defender, goes on the outside, pulls it through the box. It's got to be Rodgers, surely, to score a debut goal.
I try to be the best assister in the league, you know. So.
Well, this is absolutely outstanding from Lacroix.
Now Pedro's running to the edge of the area now, and he's got Palmer on the overlap, and he puts it through the legs of the goalkeeper and scores. João Pedro, Morgan Rodgers, and Cole Palmer have all scored.
It's not just that they have a score; they have worked good for the team. They have inspired the rest of the team.
He's headed by Gonzalo Garcia, and Fulham close the gap to just one.
You saw some moments where we were the team that we want to be.
We need to build on positive things that we have done, and it's just day one.
Arbeloa's first lesson in English football came from the man who knows him best. It's Fulham 2, Chelsea 3.
Yeah, it's a great start as far as Xabi Alonso is concerned. He came out on top against his old mate, Alvaro Arbeloa, who'll take some encouragement from that first game, I think, as Fulham manager. The Chelsea goals from João Pedro and Morgan Rodgers, and of course Cole Palmer as well. Enzo Fernandez came off the bench for Chelsea after reports persisted really that he wants to move away from the club. Could keeping Enzo Fernandez derail Chelsea's season? Is it a gamble worth taking? Well, let's get the views of former Chelsea midfielder Andy Townsend, who joins us this morning. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Andy.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali. How we doing?
We're a brilliant forum, mate. How are you? A wee bit of jet lag. You okay, mate?
Bit of jet lag, of course. No, I'm all right, mate. I'm fine now. A crazy trip. Friday night I was at Arsenal. Then Saturday morning flew to Chicago to do something for Villa, and then flew back late on Sunday night, and then at Chelsea last night. So here, there and everywhere, but been very enjoyable. Been really good.
No contract offer at all from the White Sox?
They did offer me a 2-year, Ali, but we couldn't agree a sell-on. So, unfortunately, it broke down at the last minute.
Look, Andy, we were talking about Enzo Fernandez there. I mean, he got a pretty feisty reception, presumably mainly from the Fulham fans last night. What would you do with him? Is it you're Xabi Alonso? Are you wanting to keep him?
I think you're wanting to keep him, Jeff. I do. I look, he definitely makes Chelsea, I think, a stronger team. Listen, they paid an awful lot of money for him, and I wouldn't have thought when Enzo Fernandez left or leaves Chelsea that they would get perhaps a fraction more for him when he goes out the door. So that's always has to be considered. But I think all things up, I think Chelsea are a better team when he's fit and he's well and he's playing. Listen, there were a few grumblings when he was warming up before the game, and then obviously when he finally came on, most of those boos obviously were coming from the Fulham fans. When I looked away to my right from where I was commentating, the Chelsea fans were applauding and they were cheering him as he came on. So and I think the hardcore Chelsea fans would definitely realise that if he's right and if he's playing well, he's an asset to the team.
Andy, I tell you what, mate, if you drop Reece James back, you've got Caicedo and Fernandes in that side with that front three. That's a proper team, is it not?
It is a proper team. I tell you what, I thought Maxence Lacroix played very well as well.
I like him, mate.
I thought he was very composed and nice and assured. Cole Palmer that's as good as I've seen him for probably 12 months or more. He was sharp, he was hungry, he was every time he got the ball, instead of just maybe dropping it off to other people now and again, he was running at people, going beyond them, looking to drive into the box. Very and running hard back the way as well, which is very important when he had to for the team. So I was mightily impressed with Cole Palmer, Morgan Rogers first half, and João Pedro. That looks a very dangerous front three, comparable with, I think, with anything in the Premier League. So look, if they're all fit and well, Ali, Jeff, they're going to be a handful. They will, particularly with those boys up front, because they've got great pace and counter-attacking ability as well as a lot of quality.
Yeah. I think with Cole Palmer, and we were talking about this earlier on as well, the thing about Cole Palmer for me is he never wants to take the easy option. He always wants to play a ball or do something that will make a difference. And he's clearly benefited from having the summer off. But the question now is can he do it all season long? Because he's going to be, he's obviously a marked man.
Of course he is. He will be, and particularly after last night, you want to get tight to him. But where it's slightly more, I think, difficult for teams coming up against Chelsea this season, because they're playing that back three. Cole can go wide to find a bit of space, and he can receive it out there. Or, of course, if Chelsea have got good possession and Malo Gusto or whoever's playing right wing back, if they're flying outside him, then he can start to drift in and find a little pocket of space somewhere else. So the shape of the team, I think, suits him. I never liked him playing for Chelsea when he's high and wide on the right and he's waiting to get involved. I never thought that suits him. This formation does suit him. And the same for Morgan Rogers. He's not a natural wide winger. You want these boys being able to cut inside and then linking up with people. And so that I think it bodes very well for them. I was impressed with the way that they played. Fulham never give it up. They were always in the game. They were never out of it. But I always thought Chelsea had potentially another gear and they deserved their win.
What about defensively, Andy? I mean, I think Rodgers drops King for the first goal, and I don't think a centre back covers himself glory for the second one. But clearly, mate, I think the goalie should do better with both.
The goalie, I don't know what he's doing with the first one. I think he's got half an eye on, maybe thinking the ball's coming across the 6-yard box, and he leaves the door open at the near post, and little Josh King slammed it in there. You got to save that. That's one of them ones that everyone around the ground and everyone on the bench, I'm sure, is looking and thinking, where's the goalie? He's got to save that. The second one, I'll cut him a little bit more slack, because you're right, Ali. Levi Colwill should have done better under the initial cross to the far side, and the shot come at him pretty quick. And then again, defenders weren't reacting, and they managed to knock it home, Fulham. But look, that problem's not going to go away. Robert Sanchez he can do some brilliant stuff, but then the basics and a bit of concentration tends to let him down. If Chelsea want to win the league, you cannot have that. So I would imagine they've got to get. I would imagine they're still probably looking every day to try and see if there's anyone out there that can improve that.
Do you think they might be looking towards the Villa and Emi Martinez?
Listen, I don't know what that situation, where that is, Jeff, with Emi Martinez. Clearly, Zion Suzuki, the goalie they bought, it looks like they're making him the number one. And if I was Chelsea, if I was one of those sporting directors there, and Emi Martinez was available, I wouldn't hesitate. I wouldn't hesitate at all.
Andy, what about the Villa? I mean, at what point does Unai Emery say to himself, what's going on here? You know, I'm clearly losing the vast majority, if not all, my better players.
Yeah. I think, Ali, on the face of it, last season, when you looked at that Villa team, as good as it is a team that was getting on a little bit all round. So it was always going to need freshening up at some point. When you see them all go out the door at the same time, the Morgan Rogers one is one of those ones that, for a club like Villa, they had to do at that sort of money. But when you see Tielemans and Konsa go, I was maybe a little surprised at the Ezri Konsa one more than Yuri. Because Konsa has been so very consistent. So that's a blow. But it feels like at Villa now, this is going to be very much a little transitional period where they've got to try and get it going again and build a slightly younger, new look team. Unai's done that before wherever he's been. He's had to deal with this sort of situation before. But when it all comes at you pretty quick and pretty sharp, and it leaves you starting the first Premier League game of the season without somebody up front, that would be mightily frustrating for him, very much. Yeah.
Andy, thanks a lot, mate.
Cheers, Andy.
Cheers, Jeff.
All the best, mate.
Ta-ra, mate. Ta-ra, Ali. Thanks, pal.
All the best, mate.
Former Chelsea and Aston Villa midfielder Andy Townsend there. Coming up, it's time for Ask Ali. Amongst the questions, we'll be asking whether Jack Grealish should leave Man City or should he stay and try and break into the first team. That's coming next.
Would you both have expected better than what you saw from Tottenham? And I think the answer
I'm
to
not
that
surprised
is,
that they lost.
Oh, yes.
I'm not surprised that they lost, but the
Not
manner...
taking anything away from Brentford, though.
No, the manner in which they lost surprised me.
Right.
There didn't seem to be any
Right.
fight or any change in gear, or the mindset hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. A soft underbelly from Spurs, and they're going to have to eradicate that very quickly.
And both of you think they'll do one hell of a lot better than 17th.
Well, they've
so do you
the players
still
are now
have
buying.
heightened
Yes,
expectations that they might be top half. Then they might be top 6.
No, I'm thinking top half of the table. I'm not saying they're going to be, it would be a surprise. They could do 6th, 7th, but they're going to have to improve massively, Jim, from what we saw at the weekend. And where are these players that have been injured for so long? Look, there's an awful lot of players.
Fit, isn't he?
Van der Ven wasn't available. Jim, you look at the back four, there's hardly anybody playing from last season. So, they're facts, but get them fit then. Let's get them out there.
We saw Newcastle yesterday and how they went about it. We saw... They're at home, yeah. But we saw Tottenham and how they went about it as chalk and cheese.
But I think this is great for De Zerbi because he'll sort the wheat from the chaff. And for me, I don't have any expectation of Tottenham. They're not my football club. So, I don't particularly admire their board and I don't particularly like their manager. So I don't have an objective view. So I'm quite happy to see them struggle. But that's me being mean-spirited. But you would, for the Tottenham fans, who are plenty of my friends are Tottenham fans, you've gone to Brentford. You've been battered. You could have got beat 7.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been a surprise because they were that dominant. They missed the penalty. They had other chances, Brentford.
Yeah.
A lot of that is because Brentford are a really good side, and playing Brentford away in the first game of the season gives you a false sense of security.
How's that? Next March, the England cricket team face Australia in the 150th anniversary Test match down under. And as always, the Barmy Army will be there. And thanks to talkSPORT, Visit Victoria could be too. Enter now at talksportwin.com for the chance to score an incredible week-long trip for 2 to watch the 150th anniversary Test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. Enter now at talksportwin.com and get ready to experience the electric atmosphere that only a Barmy Army tour delivers.
Good morning to you. This is talkSPORT Breakfast with me. Jeff Stelling Ally McCoist is alongside me. I've got a message, Ali, for you from Alan, who's a Toon fan. He says, Jeff, can you tell Ali he owes me a tenner? As back in 1994, me and my mate Kenny went to Ali's testimonial at Ibrox. We hitchhiked from Newcastle, looking forward to see Ali, one of Scotland's best strikers, play against Kevin Keegan's entertainers. However, Ali didn't play. Am I eligible for a refund? Well, that's pretty bad form. Your testimonial didn't play.
I had a reasonable excuse.
What was that?
I had a broken leg at the time. Right. As much as I wanted to play, it did prevent me playing. I broke my leg about 2 months before it, so I was still in the throes of recovery.
No, brilliant. Andy finishes off, by the way, said it was a great night, and the Rangers fans were brilliant with the Newcastle.
I've got to say, it really, really was.
Yeah, fantastic.
Newcastle boys came up and it was
excellent.
Great.
One quick message from a Spurs fan. Darren says, morning Jeff, I'd love Jack Grealish at Spurs. Play him centre midfield. He's exactly the creative player that we need. We'll talk about Jack in a moment or two. But right now it is time for this.
The 150th anniversary test match in Melbourne with Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army.
How does it know? What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at it. It's an upgrade in Skippy, probably.
Yeah, if you were listening earlier on, we had Skippy the Bush Kangaroo as the backing music.
We could have had Men at Work, we could have had In Excess, we could have anything, but no, he goes for Neighbours and Skippy.
Yeah, we could have had Kylie Minogue.
Oh yeah, I like Kylie a lot.
Absolutely. How does an all expenses paid trip to Melbourne for 7 nights sound? Well, talkSPORT is sending one lucky listener and a mate down under this mark.
We certainly are. Thanks to Visit Victoria and the Barmy Army. You could be at the MCG watching England take on Australia at the 150th anniversary test match. We're talking 5-day match ticket, 7 nights hotel, an exclusive pre-match function with cricket legends, and a day trip to the Great Ocean Road with return flights and spending money included.
So head to talksportwin.com right now to enter and for full T and C's. Right, let's finish the show this morning with a bit of this.
Ask me. Here's Ally McCoist. Oh, he's done it. Ally McCoist from Rangers.
Are you winding me up?
No, I'm deadly serious.
You know where the creator of the Rubik's Cube came from? Came from Czechoslovakia. So there you are, have some of that.
You need to introduce me to this Tinder. Is it dangerous?
You're a pair of numpties, so yeah.
Let's be having you! Let's be having you!
Oh, gee, was I?
You were only supposed to blow up a bloody door.
What's that? Yeah, I've nailed it, man. I've nailed it.
Yeah, the chance to ask current sports pundit of the year, Ally McCoist, absolutely anything from the world of football. So, Coisty, let's start with this one. It's about Rangers. Derek McGuinness could be in the stands for the Old Firm match coming up as Rangers manager after a hearing date of August the 31st was set for his appeal against a 4-match touchline ban. Does it matter whether he's on the touchline or in the stands?
Yeah, it does.
It does,
yeah.
Okay.
And I'll tell you something else. Imagine getting a 4-match ban for saying something that was completely true. Anyway, are you going to ask me if I'm feeling positive?
Are you feeling positive ahead of the derby?
I'm looking forward to it. Of course I'm feeling positive. I think, generally speaking, Old Firm games bring the best out in good players. It's a fixture that gets played so often now, you would think it would have, less meaning to a lot of people, and nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be further from the truth. And with that in mind, I am full of optimism and hope. Celtic have looked lively, no doubt about it. I mentioned it. They scored some brilliant goals. I'm saying they looked lively in the midweek game, the European game, when they scored some great finishes. I've got to say, I like Hassan, the winger they've signed as well, the Egyptian lad. Different class. So, and they've got a big game tonight. So, in answer to the question, we have not started as well as Celtic, clearly. But am I looking forward to the Old Firm game? Am I positive about it? Yes, as always.
Okay, positive, optimistic. And of course, you're rooting for Celtic to lose tonight in the Champions League.
No, I'm not.
No, go through, but lose on the night. That's what's going
to happen. I think that's what will happen.
Yeah, that's what you hope's going to happen.
Coming from the man that doesn't care that I've got to go back to Glasgow in the next 48 hours.
Sorry, Coisty.
No problem.
We all know your true colours, though.
Oh, no doubt about that.
Right, next up, Forest take on Leeds again tonight in the Carabao Cup. It's a repeat of Saturday's league game. You can hear this one live on talkSPORT too. I think it's fair to say that Saturday wasn't fantastic, but it was if you're a Leeds fan, because they won by a goal to nil. I mean, it's a pretty bad mistake from Matt Sells.
He should do better.
He should do better. But Daniel Farke, look, I think they've done some good business during the course of the summer.
Goalkeeper.
He's an underrated manager.
I'm not sure he's underrated, but here's one for you, Jeff, right? There was a lot of people questioning. There was actually a lot of people questioning when he got promotion whether he should stay in the job because they feared automatic relegation. I was delighted that didn't happen. I was delighted he kept the job, and I was delighted they stayed in the division. I must admit, I've got a soft spot for Leeds. I do. I enjoy. I mean, I go back to the great Scots that played in that Leeds team, 70s, you know, where it's Eddie Gray, Billy Bremner, Big Gordon, Joe, all these guys, Frank, David Harvey, the list is endless. So I've had a soft spot since then. Obviously, we played them in a kind of Champions League qualifier. So in answer to your question, I think he's a very, very good manager. I think he's a good coach. I think he knows what he's about. And I, for one, was delighted to see him stay there and keep them up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're going to have a very decent season.
So do I.
This season.
So do I.
Yeah. And to finish, what about the future of Jack Grealish? You just heard from a Spurs fan there saying he would love Grealish in central midfield. Now, he came on as a substitute at the weekend for
I think he might have a chance here, you know.
Do you think?
I think he might have a chance at City. Clearly up to Jack. I don't know how many times I've said it, particularly today. Jack's another one. Got to play. You know, he could go to Everton. I think Moisey would take him back at Everton. I think he could go back to Aston Villa. I think he could play in that Spurs team easy. But the most important thing is he's got to play.
Yeah, and he's going to play more often at Everton
100%.
Than he will do at Manchester
100%.
City.
And I think he's now at the stage, Jack, where he realises the importance. He just wants to play football and enjoy himself. And good on him for that. And I think, I don't think there's any doubt about that. He'll have a far better doing that in a more consistent fashion at Everton than he will at Villa, at City.
And you sort of feel, don't you, in some respects, that at somewhere like Everton, it may not be Everton, but, you know, he'll have more freedom to do what he is good at.
Well,
we'll hopefully see the old Jack Grealish.
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think the fact of the matter is, he goes somewhere like that. I think it's plain and simply, he's a big fish in a smaller pond. Whereas at City, it's a small fish in a big pond.
Yeah.
And somewhere like Everton, he'll be. I'm not sure he'd be valued greater, but I think he's certainly got a far greater chance to express himself on a regular basis.
Brilliant. Loved today, mate. I loved it. The robot Olympic stuff. That was great.
So great.
I mean, the robot that underperformed because he was a bit rusty. That was my favourite moment.
No, my favourite might have been the guy, the robot that ran 790 metres and 800 metres because it was a short circuit.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Or the weightlifting when the guy said, "Can he enter my forklift truck?" That's absolutely priceless. So look, thanks for all your contributions today.
Great stuff, guys.
It's been brilliant. Don't forget, Big Al's back tomorrow alongside you, Coisty.
Yes, yeah.
Yep. Join them at 6 o'clock. Drive today. Gabby Agbonlahor alongside Andy Goldstein. They had a great weekend, didn't they? Both of them. Certainly be listening to that. They'll discuss the Villa situation and probably what's happening at Manchester United. And they also have Moses Itoma on the show. But next, it's White and Jordan.
For the record, we've had 7 different Premier League winners.
Over 33 years, over 34 years.
But this time...
Wow.
But this time, Simon, do you not agree that this is probably the most competitive ever Premier League season on the horizon?
For participation, not for winning. You're going to be one of the 4 clubs that has the biggest turnovers is going to win the league. Aston Villa are not going to win the league. Newcastle are not going to win the league.
So how do you explain